Hey, everybody, it is Tuesday, 11/22/22. Welcome to the Giant Bombcast, episode 765. I'm your host today, and we've assembled, because it's a short week, there's only 3 days in this work week, at least here in the United States. I've assembled the unholy trinity. Wait, the unholy trinity. I can change the...
I can change it. The unholy trinity. We have me, the host, Shannon.
There we go.
Welcome us into your kingdom, Satan. On Thanksgiving, as is tradition.
Oh, the music's still going. Hold on. Okay, we also got Jeff Bakalar.
That music's always playing in hell.
That's right, because it's sick.
Yeah.
We also have the Jersey Devil himself, Jeff Bakalar.
Holy shit! How do I live up to that intro, Dark Lord? How do I live up to your wishes and commands?
Tell us how you're cooking your turkey this year.
Exactly. Overcharge your electric vehicle. That's right. Just juice it a little too much, you know? Stay at the charging station just a little bit longer so someone else can't charge.
I'm gonna charge up my new EV to 120%.
That's right.
Mm-hmm.
Or you just drive around the parking lot and park it back. That's right,
man. Yeah, right. Just constantly. It has this like auto park and auto backup thing, and I'm just gonna do it all night long for no reason.
That reminds me of how terrifying electric vehicles are that can self-park, because I was not myself. I was near the emergency room recently, and a father drove his like Tesla up to the ER. Thankfully not through it. The Tesla didn't malfunction in that way. But he gets out, picks up his ailing child, and then like he boops something on his phone, and then like the Tesla just, with no one in it, just drives away. And then I was thinking at the same time, one, that's pretty cool. I'll give him that. But two, maybe you don't have a self-driving car self-park in the emergency lane area where ambulances may be coming in and out. Maybe other people in a panic may be coming in and out. People playing Marvel Snap while they're driving.
Yeah, I mean, listen, that just makes perfect sense. I don't know what you're talking about there. But this was a Tesla, you said?
Yeah, a Tessie. Yeah.
You're going to Tesla. You don't have to worry about other people.
That's right.
The whole point.
I love how like all that BMW bullshit has transferred over to Teslas now.
For me, it was Mustangs. So I think I've talked about people in Mustangs on here before. But
I used to. Growing up, I really, really wanted a Mustang, and I don't know why. I don't even like horses.
I'm not even a fan of horse.
Yeah.
Jan, your dirtbag ears.
That's exactly why. Actually, that is 100% why.
Yeah, of course you wanted.
No, but you should go to the Mustang era, like in the '90s when it was like real boxy and weird, like before they rounded it out again.
That's what my brother had back when he was a dirtbag. The dirtbaggiest Mustang you could have owned, by the way.
That car came with a half a pack of cigarettes.
Yeah,
it was just like
we've pre-cigarette like burned your seats for you. Don't worry.
Oh my god. Yeah. I can smell it. It's right there. Yeah.
Right, yeah.
Oh god.
Ooh, that yellow staining. Absolutely. You gotta love it.
Well, it's a shorter week, like we said at the top, like the said at the top there. And you know, it's a shorter week here in the US, so I just gathered three of us. We're just gonna chat about some games, perhaps some news. But first I'd like to ask the two of yous, you ready? Are either of you ready for the big day on Thursday? Are the dishes prepared? Are they
Nothing's prepared except for my turkey apparently is thawing. My mother-in-law's bringing one down. She's also bringing a ham, so that's gonna be fun.
Ooh.
But I was at the grocery store. I was getting all the fixings that I need. I am ready to go, I believe, except for the either pumpkin pie or pumpkin cake that my wife makes. We need to go get the stuff for that.
Oh, wait, pumpkin cake? Dude, pray tell.
it is like if a pumpkin pie was a cake instead. So it's like the best of both worlds.
Oh, shut the front door.
And of course, you just put on an entire thing of Cool Whip on top of there, and it's very good. So as long as we get that taken care of, I'm gonna be good. I'm gonna be set. I did consider spatchcocking my turkey this year.
It works.
I know. I'm sure it does.
Yeah.
I just don't know if I have the skill level.
You just need like either a really good knife or like really good kitchen shears, and you can spatchcock that bad boy up and down its spine. Just rip it out. It does. Yeah, it cuts down.
Is it something I can like? Is it something I have to prep for, or like? Will
at least like a day before?
Okay. Because a day.
time.
We do it during the voicemail dump truck. I could start my spatchcocking.
Yeah, exactly. Just use your phone as your webcam that day, so you can take us with you.
All right, sounds good.
So we are hosting for the first time in like 4 years.
Oh.
My wife has already done like a test placing.
Oh, fancy.
Yeah, where like it's almost like a live demo of like what the actual dinner will look like. We are using china that I didn't know we owned, and that's cool.
I know exactly what you mean. Holy
like,
shit! How does that happen?
I was like, would you rent
every
this?
day in this house? And there's more. What? Where'd these come from?
It was amazing. I was like, where did this come from? Okay, so this year we're having 14 people. Okay.
I thought you were going to say 14 turkeys. I'm like, that's a little excessive, dog.
And they're all for Marty. Assigned seats.
Whoa, you're doing this.
Wait, do you have a kids table in the big table?
Yes. All right.
That's a real Thanksgiving.
I came down like Sunday morning and I saw all like I woke up around 9 and there was I walked into a scene in the kitchen with a bunch of crumpled up paper and a lot of like chicken scratch on notepads and it was all of the drafts of the seating arrangement discarded until the final one.
Oh my god!
This is why you get a whiteboard.
Yes, exactly.
Do you have the QAnon corner?
No.
You gotta spread it out.
It wouldn't be a corner. It wouldn't be a corner. It would be just more like a setting.
Half a table. Okay.
It would be a single setting.
Okay. Right. Yeah. Totally. Hey, same here.
Right. So that person will be eating in the garage.
Okay.
We'll just sort of pass the food under the door.
Smaller than the third kitty table. Exactly. Yeah.
Exactly.
In the
Marty
dog
gets
house.
a seat before this wackadoo.
Yeah.
You serve them in their car is what's going on.
Yes, they drive past the house.
Yeah, and also just to prevent them from all the the chemtrails, and also shit, it's crazy. Stacey's really enjoying it. I'm we've already got company in the house, so if I'm not as loud today, you know why. It's a fine thing. I'm looking forward to it. I really enjoy anything you do with sweet potato. You make it sweet. You make it marshmallowy. You make it potatoey, of course. I love that. Let's go.
Yam it up, baby. Yeah. Yam it up. As you always tell me every time we end a one-on-one, yam it up, Jan. So
that's it. My parting words, my parting advice to you this afternoon. Yam it up, baby.
That's right, folks at home. If you have yet to visit the grocery store, abandon everything else. Fill your shopping cart with yams. Just yam it up. Get the dried flakes too.
Oh yeah,
man. Those. I mean, don't undersell the dried flakes. I mean, that's some of the best Thanksgiving sides you can get. Come in boxes and they're dehydrated by science. And then you add some water and some heat, and you're in business, baby. You got a Thanksgiving dinner going. I honestly, my favorite side probably is just stovetop stuffing. Like, give me that. Oh yeah, that's good shit.
I'd like to believe I've learned how to cook very well over the years, but the one task that I always get assigned with is making mashed potatoes. And now I'm at a precipice here. I'm at a fork, perhaps, of like, do I continue doing it the way that I've been doing it, or do I try and get fancy schmancy on my family and try and do it in a fancy schmancy way? And I feel like they're going to absolutely hate the fancy schmancy way. So,
do either of you Do either of you have like an underdog side for Thanksgiving that people maybe overlook?
Yes.
Here, I'll start off, and
Please,
you tell
please.
me.
Yeah, give me an
Any
example.
kind of like real unconventional corn delicacy, like corn pudding, not cornbread, because everyone's fucking had cornbread. You're not
Yeah,
special.
I will mess up a whole thing of cornbread by myself. Yeah.
Easily, but
Don't like
like
cornbread.
corn
Sorry.
pudding, like corn,
for me.
like stuff like that. Hey, let's go with that. It is so corn is just this amazing thing if you really want to get adventurous and experimental with
Are
it.
you the TikTok kid now? Like,
No, I know of
have you
him.
been inundated by the TikTok child? You have seen the
I've
good
been-
light of corn?
Honestly, I think he's been bought off by Big Corn. I
First
think
of
he's
all,
right.
are you in Big
listen,
Corn's
hey,
pocket?
We live in this
get me in
country.
on that.
We live in this country. We're all in the pocket
Oh
of
yeah,
big
exactly.
corn.
Cut me in
okay?
on the deal. I'm eating it. I want to get fed too.
I want to use the kernels. I'm not trying to like melt it down into some horrific
Slurry.
sugar substitute or
Yeah, sugar
fuel
slurry.
alternative.
Yeah.
I'm just talking about making some cool bread out of it.
Okay. Can we get serious about corn? It's amazing.
Are you kidding?
It's
to me.
amazing, huh?
Hey, we did it. Like the whole idea of people like living and surviving on a continent and be able to have a city that wouldn't be possible on this continent if, thousands of years ago, the natives did not domesticate maize in the first place. It's the only reason we have enough energy to actually live here. And now, of course, it serves as the basis of everything. It has to. It's the only thing we have enough of to feed all these people. It's a pretty cool thing. And that's your Corn Minute. Now, hopefully they cut me my check. Is that how it works, Bakalar?
I think so. I think we had to do a corn hour, not a corn minute.
Well, listen,
Okay,
I'll
well,
do
we
it.
got,
I'll
like-
do it. I'm down.
We got like 40 more minutes then. But speaking of that, also shouts out to Native American Heritage Month. Us fucking, we're all on indigenous land. So shouts out, props to them. Yeah, you know what? Yeah,
For founding Western civilization. Absolutely.
exactly.
Yes.
Don't get enough credit and everything. Anyway, Skoden, to fucking answer your question, Bakalar, my unappreciated underdog side
Yeah.
is a whole nother dish.
What's that?
Dungeness crab.
Ooh.
No, wait. I heard Dungeness crap.
Crab.
No, crab. It's like a Northwest, a Pacific Northwest, right? Crab.
Oh, yeah.
That sounds like an amazing thing for Thanksgiving. I've never even considered the possibility.
Yo, it is like a brawl for all. I'm gonna have to brave going to a Costco tomorrow and trying to get crab. Have you either of y'all ever crossed a 4'11" to 5 foot Asian woman trying to get crab for her family?
Listen, I don't
dangerous.
know much. I don't know much, but I know better than that, Jan. I know better than to do that. All right.
I know what to do there.
Yeah, I know to walk the other way and let her have her crab.
Oh boy, it is dangerous. Last year I had an old Asian woman take crab out of my cart. It was it was buried underneath other objects.
Oh, that's
No,
awesome.
she's like, no, you don't. You're not going to get this.
We weren't even near the crab anymore.
Okay, so
I'm
wait,
good. Please.
She was
questions.
following you.
Yes.
Oh, she scoped it out.
Yo,
She did a hitman on you.
Yeah.
like I'm a little bit taller, right? Reached over, I saw the one I wanted. I was like, you know what? It's fine. My family deserves this. Yoink. Took it, put some lemons on top of it, put a bag of potatoes on it. This woman gives me the stink eye. And then she follows me. And I'm assuming most Costco's are the same layout, right? So imagine, if you will, you leave the meat seafood section, and now you're going way over to the side to like the dry goods section. This woman has been trailing me, y'all. This woman's like Agent 47, like blending in, like
Asian 47, excuse me.
Fantastic.
Yeah, you're welcome. I'm
She's
here
like
for you.
looking at like, oh, maybe I will go buy these chestnuts. Oh, maybe I will go buy this variety pack of popcorn. Meanwhile, just constantly watching me. And then like my partner and I, we leave the cart. We go looking to grab some other things for the family. I see this woman digging through my cart.
I can't. I don't know what I would do if I saw
Bakalar, of
that.
course we don't understand. We wouldn't oh yeah, of course. But I love that she did. This lady has cojones
ball.
the size. Yes.
Yes.
Just gigantic testicles.
Like, could you imagine? What did you do?
I didn't do
You let her
anything.
have it.
I
You
did
let
it.
her have it. What do you mean?
You just
She's
tackle
going
her?
to do that. She will do anything. She's going to cut you.
And then, so I didn't get crab there. I had to rush to other grocery stores to buy more expensive crab.
There was no confrontation whatsoever.
You just take the L.
No,
You
dude.
take the L.
Exactly.
You're just like, oh, ma'am. Oh, don't do that.
No, there was no reasoning
please.
at this point, man.
Oh, please. That's not your card. I'm afraid, ma'am. Please stop. No, ma'am.
Yeah, exactly. People are pointing out in the chat here, she could have stabbed me with said crab.
Right, yeah, they're sharp.
Oh my God, that's definitely happened in a Costco somewhere in America.
And how is that not happening in Hitman? I mean, if we're sticking with that.
Yeah, that's true. Get on that.
That's what we need. We need a Costco level or like a Sam's Goods level in
You
Hitman.
said it.
Oh
Your
boy,
mouth to God's ears. Yeah.
yeah. I don't like also confrontation and everything, and this was like 5 steps above the level of
This is
confrontation.
someone who is like a transcended confrontation, has become confrontation, uses it to power themselves, and now you like. How does a normal human deal with that? You do not.
Exactly.
It
Exactly.
sounds scary. I wouldn't want to be in your shoes there.
Yeah. Yeah.
I'll admit.
Yeah. She kindly did though put everything back on top of each other.
Sure. I respect that.
All right. Well, that's enough fun and games. Let's talk about some games.
Oh, I thought we were going to talk about.
Oh,
I don't want you to cut off the music, but I feel like
I cut it off. It's too late.
I'm supposed to come here on a Tuesday morning
Uh-huh.
and tell you about my Saturday night.
Oh, you know what? Okay, let's roll it back. Grub, reverse the tape.
Yeah. Oh. Hey, you asked for it, baby. I can deliver all this.
That shit never gets old. That shit, like we fart jokes and trying to
all
speak
right.
into
I'll
reverse.
guess and here. That's what you said when you hired me.
Oh my God.
I didn't think
amazing.
I didn't think you'd do it. I didn't think you'd do it, but I'm glad you did.
You went right in. Didn't skip a beat.
All right. Jeff Bakalar, this past Saturday was AEW's Full Gear, a wrestling pay-per-view, because AEW still calls them pay-per-views. You were in attendance with this at the show with Daniel Reichert, and this isn't your first show by any means, right?
No.
You've been to ECW shows in the past and everything.
ECWs, your WWEs, your WCWs. Like I've been there, all the dubs.
All right, and for folks listening at home, we probably will put together another episode of the Power Bombcast. Maybe after Survivor Series happens as well, we'll assemble the crew. But I need to know, Jeff Bakalar, what happened? What'd you think? How many shirts did you buy? What were the smells? What were the smells like?
Well, the smells were cigarettes. Just straight up cigarettes. And a lot of people in chat right now are asking me about my cigarettes, and I need to tell you, those are not my cigarettes.
I listen. I feel like by the transitive property of sitting close to cigarettes, they became your. If several people come by and say, "Hey, nice cigarettes," as they're walking past you, which I'm assuming is what they said, those become your cigarettes.
Yeah.
A lot of people be like, "It's a nice half a pack of cigarettes you got there."
And is that a blunt? Ooh, it's a blunt. Nice blunt
was
there.
so weird. We sat down at the Prudential Center at the Rock, home of the 13 win streak New Jersey Devils.
We asked about wrestling.
You did, but we sat.
We don't have a sports show yet.
In the Devil section, of course, and it was great. We sit down, and I'm on the aisle, and I look down, and I just see this half a pack of Marlboro Lights, and I'm just like, "Oh, that's fucking weird." Like somebody just left a pack of smokes, and next to it is what might have been like a 95% complete joint. Like someone lit it, took a drag, and then like put it out right away, and just sort of left it next to it.
It
The entire show.
It fell out of like a hoodie pocket, right? Early on.
But it also landed pack up. Like that's what was so weird. The pack was
took one hit. Someone took one hit, set their stuff down, got so high off that one hit they forgot to put their stuff there. Okay.
Bakalar, my question.
What Daniel Bryan was doing before his match.
Well, I mean, listen, that's what power.
Allegedly. My question here is, when did you get to the show? And these objects were already on the floor, right?
Yeah, they were definitely there. I been talking to Dan most of the day before we got there, and he's like, "Oh, come down now. I want to start drinking." And it was like 12:30 in the afternoon, and I was just like, "Dan,
on the Friday before, what?
I can't have a day, right? I can't have a day like that. You can't do this to me. So we met up around like 5 or so with Alex Navarro, who was out there too. It was really nice. We started drinking, having a good time. We got in there, and I was just in the zone, ready for wrestling. I like something awoken in me, and I was transported back 22 years ago. Like I was at an ECW match, an ECW pay-per-view. What was it called? It was like Living Dangerously was like one of the ones I was at. Anyway,
Sounds right.
We get there, we sit down, we got great seats, and we are just, and I am just like in the zone. The dark matches are going on. Orange Cassidy's wrestling with, they had like Danhausen come out.
Yeah.
Like I just felt like I was sucked back into that moment in such a big way. It was great. And look, not a lot's changed in 20 years. Wrestling's still wrestling.
Yeah. Yeah. A little bit more flippy dippies, right?
Yeah.
A little bit more flippy dippies, a little bit more vulgarity, maybe in the best way possible.
Oh, that crowd was loud.
It was loud. It was obscene. It was the right kind of vibe.
Did you chant Bakalar?
Did you join the chant?
Did you say, "Fuck you, CM Punk"?
No, because CM Punk wasn't there. But I gotta tell you,
if he was there and he was in your face, you would have said it. You don't chant behind someone's back. Oh, of course.
Yeah, without a doubt. I would have been pointing at him and flipping fingers at him. Here's the deal, right? The pay-per-view starts, and like it starts off with the best possible indoctrination event for me. Because you got Jungle Boy and you got Luchasaurus in a cage match.
And it was a good cage match, too.
And it was good. And they start playing Jungle Boy's fucking theme. And it's that, like, Tarzan song. And I'm just like, this rules. I love everything about this guy. It's Luke Perry's son. I love him. He won. It was great. And then they did that trios match, which was, like, the luchador sort of, like, vibe that I've been looking for, that I always loved back in the day. It was my favorite kind of wrestling. And then something happened. I don't know if it was me reaching my peak drunkenness of the evening, or I don't know what was going on, but motherfucking Chris Jericho comes out, and I'm just like, I'm his
the
like,
Masked
song
Singer's own Chris Jericho,
and Dan like leans over to me and is like, fucking Jericho, and I'm like, okay, and he's like, oh, this is his band, he sings in this band, this is his song, and I'm like looking around at the arena, and I'm like, 10,000 people fucking know the words to this dumb ass song.
Yes, they do.
And I'm so mad. I'm like, you guys are all fucking losers. This guy's a loser. What is happening? I instantly turned on Jericho, where I was screaming at him the entire match, yelling at him that he doesn't play any instruments, how he sucks, his band sucks, and it was
Canada's the greatest instrument of all. You don't know what you're talking about.
Look, I love Canada. I hate Chris Jericho. Life's full of all kinds of contradictions. What can I say? Okay,
duality of man, baby.
Exactly. Mm-hmm. I was freaking out at Chris Jericho, and this was like the Jeff Jarrett match, so it was just like a real elderly display of just strangeness, and I'm just like so mad because. It was the Jeff Jarrett match, right? It was him and Jeff Jarrett?
No. Jeff Jarrett and Sting.
Oh, right. And the Darby Allin dude. Okay. So, and I'm just, and this was like a, it was like a 3-way thing, right? Where like anyone could pin and they win.
Yeah.
Sure. Fatal 3-way.
4-way.
It was 4-way. And I'm just like so mad because I'm like, oh, they're setting up for this fucking loser to win. And he barely did anything. He's just like sitting on the side, just waiting for his time to get in and do the thing. And that stuff drives me crazy because
he worked himself into a shoot, everybody.
He worked so many more talented people wrestling, putting their bodies on the line.
Human bodies, baby. It happened.
I was so mad at Chris that they freaking let Chris Jericho win.
He got some heat put on him from you. Okay.
Yeah.
Right. I was just so mad. Like I knew what I was being set up, and I was playing into the narrative hands of this thing, and I realized I just took the bait, swallowed the drink, whatever it is. Oh, I was so mad at Christian. He sucks so bad.
Yeah.
I'm sorry. I allowed myself to just spiral down the drain and just get into it, But yeah, overall, really awesome night. This thing was way too long. It's so long. You guys.
Wrestling gets pretty long these days.
What are we doing? Yeah. What are we doing with a 4-hour pay-per-view? Can we not do that? Okay. I know everyone has to wrestle. Everyone has to like do their thing. very long.
But the thing is, like, a lot of people wrestled on that card, but their roster is so huge that there were so many more people that didn't, even including all of the dark matches and everything.
I know. I get that. It was a great night. We got to meet up with a lot of people that we haven't seen in a while. I got to see, Jordan from Albummer. It was great to see him there in attendance. He was dressed up like basically like a rabbi holding a sign that said "MJF, my Jewish champion."
Yeah,
champion was F. I don't know, but it was funny. It was great to see that. I learned all about MJF and how he's just like a little Jewish boy from Long Island. I thought that was interesting, and him and his scarf situation and all that.
He's the Sandy Koufax of wrestling, absolutely.
I just don't understand like the whole. For me, it's like and I don't want to make this an entire wrestling podcast, and I'm sorry to everyone who's just like, great, now Bakalar's a wrestling freak too. Here we go. Yep. I'm not a wrestling freak, but
yet
all the other like that trios match with the Death Triangle, my new favorite crew, the Death Triangle, I fucking love them.
Trios matches have all been heaters.
So sick. All that stuff
Pentagon,
is so good.
top 5 wrestler for me.
Awesome. Love all those guys. And then like the final match is like, the weird behemoth like storyline thing, and it's just like, come on. I don't know. I just find that a little anticlimactic. It's always been like this. I've always lamented that stuff. It's been going on as long as I've been watching wrestling, but I don't know. I've to me, it was nice that guy won. I guess he's a bad guy? Is he a heel?
MJF?
Is he a heel?
Kind of.
He's the borderline heel that people root for.
Yeah.
It's funny how many people you're like, I remember that guy. He's still doing this.
There was Sting and Jarrett. Yeah.
That was wild. Absolutely wild.
Sting is so much fun now. He's having the best time of his life, I think, right now. I think he's like in a real good place.
Sting's just wearing straight up like, jeans and a t-shirt wrestling now in face paint. It's pretty sick.
I mean, they pay him to show up and just kind of be Sting, and then every once in a while jump off a thing.
He jumped off like,
He jumps off things now. It's great.
He does, and he does it well.
Yeah, overall, he looks good doing it.
Exactly. Overall, I had a blast. I really did.
I'm happy to hear that.
With an open mind, and I came away thoroughly entertained. So that was a blast. So thank you all for letting me into your little freak show and accepting me as someone who retired and came out of retirement.
Did Dan get arrested for cutting in line?
Okay, very good question. Thank you for asking.
Yeah,
would not have brought it up. In the most Dan-like fashion, we were afforded tickets that Dan didn't even need to be that guy because we had semi-private bathrooms.
Wow.
And there was literally a come and go policy. It was just, and all 68 times that he had to pee, it was unobstructed, no line whatsoever. So I was seriously ready. I was so ready to call him out on his bullshit. I was going to turn on him. I was going to say, hey, everybody, this guy cut the line, beat him up. And it just did not come to fruition, unfortunately. But it was a good night otherwise.
Oh, boy. All right. I am so happy for you, sir.
Thank you.
So happy because seems like you revisited something that you were unsure about, and then it wound up being great. Just like over the weekend, I revisited something, a franchise, but I was the opposite. Let's play the game music one more time.
Love it. You've earned it.
Pokemon Scarlet. Shut up. Pokemon Scarlet and Violet. Oh, they don't hear music on there? It's very low for y'all? Okay, well, that's intended.
It was on purpose.
It's a feature. It's a feature.
You guys are embarrassing yourselves by questioning it now. How dare you?
Come on, guys. Guys, please.
Come on.
Pokemon Scarlet and Violet. I did a quick start for this as soon as it was available and it launched. Pokemon Scarlet and Violet. This is the 9th generation now of Pokemon. This has taken a very different approach to the normal formula. The formulas in the past vary by the numbers in terms of it's all pretty structured in terms of you were given an area, there are Pokemon to catch within the tall grass, and you proceed from town to town to town to beat the gyms, etc., catch them all if you want. Sword and Shield switched up that formula by adding the wild area, and then Pokemon Legends Arceus, however you want to say it, made it a mostly open world-ish type of game, and I really liked it. I know a lot of people that had bounced off of Pokemon wound up really digging Pokemon Legends Arceus because it was pretty different in how you can approach the game. This is just as open, if not more open, I'd say, because you are presented with multiple paths after you get through the first tutorial section. You can either go through the open world and just pursue the gyms like you would in a normal Pokemon game, or you can take on your Team Rocket equivalent, which is the antagonist of this game. Here it's Team Star. Or you can go take on these Titan beasts, kind of similar to the alpha-ish Pokemon in Pokemon Legends Arceus, and just assemble ingredients to help your friend make sandwiches better. And I was really lukewarm on that first hour or so that I was playing. It's really ambitious. It's really going for a lot. I started to like it after I got through that little tutorial bit and the world opened up. I started playing it some more, and I hate to come to the reality and the fact that maybe these games aren't for me anymore, y'all.
What is it? Just what is it? Like, what happened once you got past that? Like, the opening up, you said you were finding some enjoyment in it. I've heard a lot of people say they got to that point and kept enjoying it. What for you is sort of being like, the magic isn't here anymore, or is it something different?
I think it's mostly just realizing that Game Freak themselves as a studio may not be the best equipped to realize the game that they're envisioning. Because, I mean, you know, we can poke fun at all the glitches and everything of like, oh, everything's so framey. Oh, the stuff like the shadows popping in and out, the frame rate being super, super inconsistent. Or even like the textures just being, I don't want to say Nintendo 64 like, but really, really muddy. And we can only blame the Switch so much because there are games.
It is an ugly game. It's an ugly game. You
know, that I think definitely if I was a child or a younger person experiencing. Hey.
No. I want to tell you something.
Yes.
I'm in no way this is derailing your mini sort of take on here.
Please.
Saturday night, Dylan and I were getting ready for bed, getting him ready. He was up late and he's just like, let's watch one more thing. So we put on YouTube and we see a giant bomb quick look of Pokemon Scarlet Violet. Could we watch that? I said,
you let him watch a quick look after dark?
Wow.
Late night one.
And I also knew it was Jan, so I knew it would be, I don't know why, and this is, I'm
very family friendly.
Yeah, don't let him watch.
You're a family friendly guy, like, and he knew right away. He's like, "Is this Jan?" I said, "Yes." And he was watching it, and he made the conclusion. He said, "Dad, does Jan not like Pokemon anymore?"
Oh no!
I paused the quick
You were
look.
gonna be his Pokemon homie.
I paused the quick look, and I put my hand on his shoulder, and I said, "Son, sooner or later, we all stop liking Pokemon." And
sooner or later, the magic dies in you too, and you could tell because look at Jan.
Yep.
That's what Jan's telling you right now. So many words.
After I wiped the tears from his eyes, he said, he's not done liking Pokemon, is he, Dad? Can I talk to him? I'll talk to him. I'll change his mind. I'll change his mind. And you know, I'm assuming he cried himself to sleep that night.
Yeah, of course. Yeah, I mean,
yeah. I do this. I've been doing that since.
Got a lot of work to do. He did conclude that perhaps this game is not fun. In honesty, he did conclude that. And I just let him start playing Arceus, right? Is that what it's called?
Yeah.
And he's digging that. So I think you really turned him off on this one, though, with your quick
you saved Bakalar some money. Good work.
Yeah, there you go. You save the Bakalar family some money. But like, don't get me wrong. I know that there are tons of people that really enjoy what's going on here. I think because of this job specifically and being influenced and seeing so many different types of games of different calibers coming from like AAA studios, medium-sized studios, literally single developers, it's kind of incredibly disappointing and frustrating to see $1 million, if not billion-dollar company treat their mainline franchise like this, and that this is what they are okay with putting out into the world. And like it's ambitious to make this an open world game and everything, to let the player decide which path they want to go through and whatnot. But it's just, y'all, game like Pokemon Company, y'all got to take Game Freak into like the principal's office and just like turn the chair around, get real with them. Like, what's up, y'all?
Yeah. What do you need? What support do you need for me to make you better? Like, yeah. Game Freak, it's just, I mean, the people have been speculating all week on the internet, Jan. I don't know if you've seen speculation on the internet before.
What?
About what's happened here and why this game is so much worse than other Switch games. Because people want to say, it's the Switch is underpowered, and he said it's not just the Switch. And obviously, you could do quick comparisons to Breath of the Wild, a few other open world games that look significantly more detailed than what they're doing here and run better. Game Freak just has never had to make an HD game before, really. They've done a couple like leading up to this, but they have not built themselves up to a place where they've been making a lot of HD games in the same way that a lot of developers have been doing for the last 15 years. Yeah. And they all went through these growing pains back then. Now this studio is going through it now, and it looks super out of place. And the question is, why don't they bring in people who have experience? And maybe that's a choice that they're making. They're like, we don't need to do that because the game's going to sell anyhow. And that's probably a likely culprit. Or is it just that, or is it also that Pokemon is its own special beast, and the people that have been working on it for so long need to be the ones working on it, and it's complicated to explain to someone coming in? Maybe there's something there. It probably comes down to they don't know they need the help until it's too late. And by then it's too late to bring someone else in to say, make this game look better. It's like, well, we got to release it this holiday. These games come out every 3 years, the new generations. We got to get it out. So, and here we are. The game looks the way it is, performs the way it is. And then the improvements that they make can only be so deep before they kind of begin losing people like you. I don't know.
Yeah. And I don't even necessarily want them to go back to the old formula, because I do like the freedom that they're presenting. It just looks and feels and plays bad, that I think kids have better standards than what is being presented. Because like you said it, Grub, where there are other studios that have cut their teeth on the Switch that know how to utilize the tools exponentially better. And there are great looking Switch games. Like, the thing is, you can fudge around with an art style to play with said tools, and just it feels bad to try and roam around the environments, and everything looks so muddy that I keep accidentally running over Pokemon with my motorcycle Pokemon and getting into these bad encounters. Or not bad encounters, but like there's no more random encounters, but it just feels like it's random because I physically cannot see these Pokemon in the world. I think that's why I liked Arceus so much, because yes, you could run around the world, and I think because those open world segments were segmented, that you and the art style was so different than Sword and Shield and Scarlet and Violet, that you could definitely distinguish when a Pokemon is there out in the world. Yeah. Also, I was enlightened by the live chat during that quick look that this was a different studio completely, portion of Game Freak, than what worked on Legends Arceus. And it just makes me wonder, shouldn't y'all have like a shared design document, or like just tools to work with or whatever? Yeah. Maybe something where folks really, really dug Legends Arceus. You brought some people back in, that they're creating some hype for Scarlet and Violet, that maybe there should be similar design stuff, like how you throw Pokeballs and stuff. But
it's a mess of their own making, right? Because they, like, that main team that is making the new generation of Pokemon games aren't probably going to be taking things in from the other sideline Pokemon games that come out. They're not going to be like, oh, Conquest, let's bring in stuff from there. And they weren't going to do that with Arceus either.
Yeah.
And then, but Arceus came out, was a big hit. was pretty a lot of it got a lot of praise for how much fun it was and changing the formula. But that came out earlier this year.
Yeah.
And that's not like there's not enough time there. Even once they did realize, people do want us to do more stuff there to bring it into this game. By then it's too late. And of course, a mess of their own making. The people that are responsible at Game Freak and the Pokemon Company for the release schedule and the way things work, they got to take some responsibility for what they've done here, because that's really all you could do. But they also keep cashing really, really, really big checks. And it's like, what do we do?
Yeah, I just wonder. It's like, I don't think they're ever going to really learn their lesson. Maybe they'll like fall backwards into it eventually. Maybe.
Yeah, exactly. Right. Yeah.
And I don't know. The big thing that I come to Pokemon now is specifically like the competitive side. I haven't really felt compelled to catch a team or even do my research on how they've adjusted competitive for this generation. And that pains me inside. So, I'm going to begrudgingly stick with it because Game of the Year season is approaching and I want to give it a fair shot. This is disappointing for me, but this may be the first time a Pokemon game has come out, or maybe neither of them wind up on my personal top 10.
Oh, wow.
I don't. Is everyone ready for that?
No, I'm not.
I'll talk to
Especially
Dylan.
My son. I mean,
I'll talk to Dylan.
Oh man.
I was actually going to say you do need to set up some one-on-one time with him.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. I'll show him Pokemon Showdown, which is like an optimized battling system, and he'll get really into that, just like I take my dips into the pool with it.
Sure.
To me, it's going to be like a Christmas movie where Dylan makes you believe again. I think that's what's going to happen.
You're going to have to salvage this.
Please.
You're going to have to salvage this this holiday season.
I'll be visited by like the Pokemon Ghosts of Christmas Past. We'll get Dylan.
Pikachu's definitely present, right?
Yes.
Or no, he's past, and then Snorlax is present.
Right.
Snorlax is the big, and then I just don't know what's the evilest looking Pokemon for future.
It's going to be a Diglett.
Okay.
So the new Pokemon they debuted, that little like ghost dog, right?
Yes.
Are there any other ghost Pokemon?
Oh, there's tons of ghost Pokemon. Yeah. Not tons, but like a good number. Yeah.
Yeah.
Because we're going through the encyclopedia and we're trying, I'm trying to get a real lay of the land there. So I just want to know what I'm in for. Okay. Thank you.
And I don't know, who knows? Maybe like I'll find some fun in it. I haven't tried doing the multiplayer just yet with other folks. Maybe we'll do some multiplayer sessions with the GB community, and like we'll do some raids. Raids are still in it. Raids seem a little bit more optimized. Oh, the bummer part, when you jump into a raid and you start to catch Pokemon, the raid Pokemon, it looks so cool. It looks great. It looks so stylish. And then the rest of the game comes back. And it's like, shoot. And I was also hoping there'd be a killer track on this soundtrack. So far, I haven't really...
Wait, isn't there?
There's a soundtrack.
Ed Sheeran.
Oh, boy. All right.
There's an Ed Sheeran song in the game, isn't there?
I think that was just like promo material. I don't know.
I thought I heard that it actually did. I thought it was actually in the game, but maybe not.
God. Oh my God.
Also, Chad disagrees. They think Mike Minotti specifically thinks the music in the game is very good.
I just really liked Sword and Shield, so like the kind of like football soccer.
The Ed Sheeran song is in the credits. It's not Ed Sheeran. Okay.
No.
Is it Posty?
Yeah, it's a Post Malone song. Because if that's the case, never mind. Game of the Year.
Yeah, Game of the Year. I'm back on, baby. Posty can convince me to do anything. I'll set up a one-on-one. Me,
there you go.
Dylan, Post Malone. There we go.
Sure. Makes sense.
That's another unholy trinity, actually. All right. Another game that I think Jeff Grubb and I have both been playing is Marvel's Midnight Suns.
Oh, I got to hear about this. Okay.
Yeah. Okay.
I got to hear about the timing of all this, where we're at, what we're doing. Let me have it.
All right.
I just started it last night / this morning, Jan. I put in maybe an hour and a half. I am trying to get my sea legs when I'm playing it. I'll say this, my early impression, my very early gut reaction is I am enjoying the combat. It is Firaxis style, although not exactly XCOM style, but definitely Firaxis style. And I kind of wish I could just skip past all the parts where they're trying to be like the Fire Emblem at the house and you're talking to people stuff. That's where I'm at.
I think I'm exactly on the same boat. Those parts of XCOM were always my least favorite, just like the base management and like personnel management aspects of it. I made the weird realization that this is basically like a 3D Marvel skinned Slay the Spire, because the thing that bummed me out immediately, both Jeffs, Firaxis, right? XCOM, they make tactics games. You boys said once or twice on the internet that I like tiles.
You're Tomlin.
There are no tiles in this game.
No,
there's no tiles in this fucking game.
What it reminds me of, Jan?
What?
That Dio Field Chronicles that we were playing.
That's a good shout. Yeah,
a little bit, yeah.
So the combat system works where you have 3 to 4 heroes per little area, and so far, because I'm about maybe like an hour or half an hour further than Grub, but the levels or the missions haven't been super big. Generally, like the enemies will just flood into the area you're already in.
Yeah, you're in skirmishes. These are skirmishes that you're in. Yeah, absolutely.
Okay. So you're not really worrying about taking cover. You can, at least where I'm at, and Grub and I are around the same point. You can only move one character per turn. So the combat is done in a card-based system where you have mana.
You get one move like currency per turn. Yeah. And then you can move that character as much as you want until you then play a card.
Yeah.
But it's like you're still just moving around the map trying to get the best angle on stuff. And for what reason, Jan? Like with these cards.
Yeah. And like with your energy and you can play up to 3 cards per turn.
You have 3 card currency per turn. Yeah.
Card currency per turn. And those cards can be offensive or support based actions, like Iron Man will shoot a repulsor beam at one, Captain Marvel will punch someone, but some of them are also kind of positionally based, like they won't do any damage, but they'll push people. Like Doctor Strange's big thing is knockback, so you can knock an enemy into another enemy to cause damage, or knock them into an object to break the object. And then as you're doing these attacks, you're also building up, I think it's called heroic points?
Yeah, heroism.
Heroism.
Yeah, heroism, yes.
And certain cards burn through those heroism meter, or certain specific actions. Like if Doctor Strange breaks up an item on the map, like he'll break a desk, he could take the debris and spend heroism to throw parts of that desk at another enemy.
Without having to use a card.
Yes, without having to use a card. And you can reroll once per turn your hand to get a whole new deck of different actions. And it's okay. It's okay.
Yeah, I think I'm enjoying the combat quite a bit, actually, because I'm like I am chaining things together. I'm thinking about how to use the thing is I'm not sure what to expect in terms of what cards are going to come up next. It does seem mostly like it's giving me cards that will be useful. And if it doesn't, if I exchange that card for another card using my swappy point that I get once per turn, chances are something's going to come up that I will be able to use. So I haven't been too worried about like, oh, this is all just RNG or anything like that. I haven't felt that way. What I have felt is, okay, I do have Doctor Strange's ability to knock this character into that character, and I know that will get them both pretty close to one another, and then I can use like blades, guns, and I can fire it over in that direction, get both of them, or I can hit the exploding barrel that's right beside them and blow that up and hit both of them, and I got them in position by doing it deliberately, moving them across the map, and now I can combine these two things into something that feels really satisfying. I don't know how it's going to scale over time as you bring in new heroes and as these heroes level up. But right now, at its basis, it seems pretty solid in terms of being a fun Firaxis tactics game.
Yeah, if you are a fan of the Marvel comic books and not necessarily like the MCU in particular, you'll be thrilled with like the roster or like the characters that are popping up, because like 30 minutes in, I see one of my favorite characters from the Marvel comics. I see Nico Minoru from the Runaways, one of the best Marvel series is until they fumbled the bag at the end there. The Hulu show, not so much. But I was like, why are you here? Whoa, there's different Ghost Riders here? Oh, sick. Dr. Faustus, not the Greek or not the German like Fable, just the character dude. Sick, you're here. Cool. So if you like the weird Marvel hooligans that are deep into the well, this might be up your alley. I'm like you, Grub, wondering how the combat or the missions will open up. I'm also hoping that the base management, personnel management, isn't like too overbearing over time.
Yeah, it does seem like here's my problem with it, and this is might not be other people's issue, but it is trying to be like Fire Emblem. I think a lot of developers played, Three Houses several years ago now, and or even Fire Emblem Awakening, but probably with Three Houses, and a lot of that stuff is like, yeah, of course this, or Persona, right? And they're like, relationship management in games is fun.
Yeah.
And so when I'm like, okay, I'm going over to my room and Iron Man is waiting there, Tony Stark's waiting there, we can have a conversation. And as we're walking down the hall, I see friendship level +1 XP. I'm like, oh, okay, so there is that friendship meter. But I know they're not going to let me smooch Iron Man. I know they're not going to let me like get into a sweet, hot, a dirty romance with these characters. So it's like, what are we building to? Oh, we're just going to be best buds. And maybe for some people, like, yeah, that's great. But like the thing in Fire Emblem's often been like, oh, I'm going to put my little characters together and they're going to get married and they might even have kids and those kids will come from the future and come fight with us. And like, yeah, I'm playing dolls basically.
Yeah.
I know that's not going to be the end game here. So really what I'm left with is, okay, we're going to get more bro-y, but these characters start out incredibly brosive. They're just like immediately they are quipping with you and they're making you feel like you've always been part of the team. So it's like, I know that the writing is just going to be the writing. And so I'm just not sure if I feel like I'm going to feel the arc of that friendship coming to roost or anything like that. It just feels like, no, this is going to be what it's going to be.
I also, because of the style that this is presented in, you don't run into the Marvel's Avengers problem where it's like, these guys don't look like the MCU counterparts. It's just like, okay, like this is what a video game comic book version of this character would look like, which is neat. I'm just counting down the days till I see my boy Cyclops.
Well.
I just can't wait to be pooped on again.
Have I seen him? I bet he's in there. He's going to be in there.
Wolverine's in it, so I'm going to assume like we'll see another
in it. Yeah.
X-Men in it.
Yeah, I mean, like you said, the Runaways character's in there, and she's just straight up wearing her X-Men stuff. So, yeah,
we'll see. We'll see. Has anyone been playing anything else?
Yes. But Bakalar, why don't you go first?
I've still been messing around there in that Call of Duty.
Oh boy.
Yeah, the Warzone stuff and whatnot. And I had my first, we did a bit of like a UPF. Oh, I don't know, what do you want to call that? Like an experiment? We I don't know.
I had a great time.
I called it bonding with my bros.
Yeah.
I guess I went into
XP
that
with Bakalar is what I got.
Yep.
I guess I went into that thinking like, oh, we're gonna try and win, but
well,
it was more of like
I was trying.
Well, look, we all know this. Dan was more obsessed with like seeing if he could poop on a water tower or something. Who knows? And fine. So but I did play it, and I kind of enjoyed it more than I thought I would. So it forced me to be like, okay, I think maybe I'll try, this with my other friends, because this is usually the part where like some of us peel off and do Warzone, and some of us stay with multiplayer. So did a little bit of the Warzone stuff, did a little bit of, and I had to experience for myself the proximity chat stuff.
Mm-hmm, sure.
You guys know what that is, right?
Yeah, well, I mean, I love the concept. I haven't played many games recently. I've had it, but I know people are kind of going wild about the proximity chat in here. What happened?
It was not 4 seconds before I heard just the most reprehensible bullshit you could possibly imagine. Like, and I'm not here to break the news
right.
to the gaming world.
Wait. Are you saying gamers are toxic?
I'm not going to sit here and reveal to you for the first time that, I don't know, maybe some gamers are racist Nazi pieces of shit. But guess what, guys?
It's interesting because it was such a complicated sign-up process to get into Warzone to begin with. You would think maybe like, I say complicated, I'm over-exaggerating it. You enter in a phone number and make a Call of Duty account.
Okay, so like, yes, I'm upset with the bullshit. I don't understand how like this is even just the thing. Like the fact that like my experience was 80% bad. Like I just don't understand how there's not AI governing this in some capacity where it's
Right.
like the second you go ahead. Yeah.
That's why I figured it was here. It's like, okay, obviously they have a system to just as soon as you that letter N comes out of their mouth, the machines just swarm down, zoom them up, and take them away, and we never see them again. I just assumed that's where we're at, but it's like, oh no, they're just they're just like, let's just raw dog it.
And when you like zoom out and you start to think like, all right, well, what was their thought process? Like, what did they expect? Like, how did they think this was gonna go? It's like you gave the entire kindergarten machetes. How did you think this was gonna happen? Like, what did you think was gonna happen, motherfucker? And like that, it's exactly what you thought was gonna happen. And I don't understand how there's not, look, this was the first time I heard another life form in a video game in a very long time, like since my CS days.
Right, so that wasn't one of your friends, right? Yeah.
It was my friend. No, so like, we and like all of us were like appalled. We were like, oh God, I forgot what it's like out here. Yeah. Haven't done this in 20 years.
Because like, okay, like Among Us VR has proximity chat. And I'm like, oh, I love the idea of that because I can imagine getting a bunch of friends together and knowing that they're going to behave and have a good time.
Yeah.
In Warzone, you can't have 150 friends just jump in. Like that's not going to happen. And do the proximity. I mean, I suppose if you're a big streamer, you can make something like that happen. But I don't even know if you can run your own custom Warzone game. I don't think that's something. So it's like there is no workable thing here where it's like, oh, I can make this a safe space for people that don't want to hear toxic language all the time. So yeah, I just don't get why they even put it in there in that regard.
So to my point earlier, like, how do you not have like a phonic detector or some sort of thing that just like can hear all the bad shit and do a permaban right away? Just do that.
Yeah.
Why is that not implemented? I mean, come on,
because they'll figure out a different way to say. Yeah.
But like you still can't just, I don't know. And I realize people are going to say like, well, you don't need to be in the public. And yes, I know. I'm never going to do it again. It's fucking abhorrent. I'm never going to, it's the worst possible thing imaginable. Also, maybe we should have just like done a thing where you don't hear actual people, but instead you just hear like
the character
chatter.
Oh, that'd be good. Yeah.
Like where you just hear like the static of radio speak in a proximity sort of mechanic, right? Where like that's louder the closer you are. You're not going to be able to like strategize based off of like intel you gather from proximity, but for the purposes of like proximity and using that to a tactical advantage, like you can still have it just be gibberish, or maybe even the option to add the gibberish filter, right? Like I don't know, that's just off the top of the dome. Surely that's come up inside the walls within Call of Duty headquarters
it all. Yeah,
right?
So it's like they considered all, why are we here? I mean, hopefully what they're doing is they're just training AI models in the first couple of weeks, and they will put something out that can just detect this stuff immediately in the future. But honestly,
you're all test subjects.
Yeah, I mean, in Activision games, absolutely you are.
Permanent beta.
Activision Blizzard, yes, Blizzard was doing that kind of stuff for a long time. Yeah, but I think the answer is like you said, we're all just going to turn it off, and we're going to forget until the next time we step on that rake in our front yard called proximity open world chat. And yeah, we'll do this again in a couple of years, but it won't change. It won't get better anytime ever because it's just the way people are.
Yeah, it's just like I said, introducing such a violent, visceral thing to a thing. I mean, look, it's already a violent, super glorification of violence and whatnot. But it's like all of a sudden you add that element to it as well, and you're just like, wow, we done made Sin City here. We done really done quite the thing. But I am more than, I am satisfied with how that game is, aside from the menus, as well as we documented in that UPF. It is such a confusing circus of confusion.
Y'all think that would be alleviated if we were all in the same platform, or that wouldn't have really solved anything, right?
I mean, the biggest thing that was with me is I had to restart the game.
Right.
And as soon as I restarted the game, there's a lot of the crashing, but like for whatever, NAT issue, I don't know what it was, right? Like we all had crossplay turned on, all that stuff. luckily enough, it was me rebooting my game, and then I was able to sync up. Right. So I don't know. You sort of just have to do a lot of trial and error.
All right. Well, maybe Bakalar, would you be willing to get round the band back together and get party up with Grub, Dan, and I again in Warzone, and maybe we've learned our lesson. Yeah.
Yeah.
Maybe.
Well, no. Look, the theme of that for us is definitely not lessons learned. Okay?
Yeah, it's not. The lesson is we don't learn lessons.
Right. Yeah.
Yeah.
That's the only lesson.
All right. Well, maybe we'll get really good at it as soon as they introduce like a John Cena skin or like a Goku skin into
That's
it.
true. That's got to be imminent. So I would assume.
Yeah. What skin do they got skins right now? Any celebrity skins?
They got Balky from Perfect Strangers.
Oh, I would pay. I'd pay $30 for that. I shouldn't have said that out loud, but I would pay such obscene amounts of money for a Balky skin.
Oh boy!
Sorry, I just saw Christian Argentina in our chat. I'm glad he's alive after that Argentina Saudi Arabia game. So glad you're doing okay, buddy.
Yeah,
glad you're doing okay.
Yikes!
Jeff Grubb, you have finished Pentiment.
I did. I love it. It's a really good game.
All right, moving on.
It is the kind of thing where the more you play it, the more you just see all of the metaphors playing into one another. And, it's right there in the name of the game. Pentiment is art that you find hidden under new layers of art. And every single thread in this game plays on that theme repeatedly. And it's just so fun to put it together. And then to realize it's not about solving it. It's just about how you feel about the way these characters have dealt with what they've gone through. And it does such a good job of portraying that stuff. The big thing for me is it feels like a game where you can learn something about human nature and how dwelling on the past is it's really hard not to do it. And this is a game very much about how there are values to be learned that we've covered up. But at a certain point, there are reasons why we cover them up. There are reasons why we build on top of things, whether that is in our own personal lives, whether that's building on top of literal Roman ruins, or whether it's just taking stories and repurposing them for new cultures. All these things are important. And sure, let's go back and learn how we've changed things over time. But as a person, specifically, maybe as an individual, it's most important that you keep building on top of yourself and getting better and learning. And if that requires you to go back in the past and learn about yourself and examine yourself, definitely do it. But don't dwell on it. Don't get caught up and obsess on it. And this game, I'm speaking vaguely and we'll talk about this stuff during Game of the Year. But boy, it was really effective. It's a really good game. It's something special. I kind of can't recommend it highly enough. And you'll know in the first hour if it's a game for you, I think. I would give it some time, make some big choices, see how you feel about that stuff, get through a couple of this will be remembered. And if you feel like, oh man, I wish I could choose something different, don't. Just keep going, keep pressing ahead. And if it's not working for you, you can bail. But I think a lot of people are going to be surprised how much they connect with this game.
Yeah, I'm finding that, and I'm hating that Pentiment came out this late in the year. That now I have to rejigger my whole list. Because just like you said, Jeff Grubb, I find myself getting too lost in the sauce constantly. But that brings us to the
Game of the Game of the Week.
There it is.
Atari 50.
Okay, what if we just decide right now? What if this is just our Game of the Year? What if we just make Atari?
Are we wheeling and dealing right here? Okay.
I think we just wheel and deal right now. I think this is the answer.
I'll give you full support. I'll give you full support if we get Xenoblade Chronicles in top 5.
I think I can make that happen.
Sick.
I think
all right.
Atari 50 is incredible. It is
really
so good. I love it. It is.
I've been sleeping on this. You're telling me this is a surprise to me. I want to hear about
the quick look because I was really surprised.
Yes. Watch the quick look. You'll get a good idea of why I'm so into it. I've barely played any of the games in there. That's not what makes it a good game. What makes it a good game is it's not trying to be a good game. It's trying to be a great museum.
Yeah.
It is a great museum. It is one of the best
Museum
examples.
of the Year?
Yeah, definitely. Maybe we need that category. It is, the presentation is fantastic. It works because it is done as something they know you're going to be experiencing on a video game device. So they build it in such a way that makes it very easy to navigate. It is text on a screen. So it's a block of text. It's like a, one paragraph. They're not going to go super deep on everything. They're going to hit you really hard with the tidbits that are going to be the most effective. And then they'll break it up with a video that is obviously you can almost feel like Drew Scanlon just like putting his signature on there. It feels very familiar in terms of how good it is, but they get really great quotes from everybody, really great stories. And I'm still like in the early parts of Atari, the arcade days and the early home stuff. But I am absorbing everything. It is so well done. It is a labor of love. And I'm adoring it. And it is great that anytime you get to a game that you're like, oh, I do want to play that, you just hit one button and suddenly you're at the game. And yeah, it's just so well done.
Yeah, I don't necessarily have any nostalgic reverence for anything Atari, but like watching y'all through that quick look and just like the care to the presentation, it's like a nicely wrapped present that you don't want to like, no, this is great. I'm just going to stick with this present that's in this nice bow.
And it's you could feel the editorialization on there where it's like, okay, this isn't just some game dev who was given this task and like someone who's like, oh, some young kid who's like, oh yeah, I need to figure this stuff out. Obviously, multiple people who care a lot about Atari, know a lot about old video games, know a lot about how the stories of old video games get told and get manipulated over time, and can like pull out the truth from those. A lot of those hands are on there, and it's obvious in the credits, but it is obvious when you are consuming the stuff itself. It's like they get to the reality, and sometimes they let the myth come through a little bit, but they also try to push past it and say, okay, no, did this really happen? And say, well, no one really knows for sure, but we're going to say that this could be a myth, and we're going to talk to 15 people all telling the same story. And if like when all the things line up, that's probably the truth. That's probably the truth. It's really cool.
That's amazing.
Yeah.
I know you haven't checked it out yet, Jeff Bakalar, but a question for both Jeffs here. Is there like another franchise or platform you would like the same treatment for? Like kind of like a museum presentation?
Yeah. I mean, listen, I think the obvious one right now is, the obvious
Sonic.
one is Nintendo.
Oh,
but
Nintendo.
Yes, Sega,
Nintendo.
Yes, Nintendo. But like, if we could get it, Sega and Sonic would be great.
I think I don't know. I think I have a bit of a different take on this sort of stuff, because
Please.
The chance to play all this stuff is not. It's like easy to experience all that stuff. It is preserved, I feel like, in a way that where I would like to see the museum treatment. I would like to see that given to stuff that like I faintly remember. Do you know what I mean? Like there's a lot of stuff out there that I just probably have experienced maybe once or twice in my life growing up, however I touch that game. But to get some sort of really in-depth a presentation of a thing that's been lost in my past. And I'm not saying like we spend, millions of dollars to preserve 3DO stuff or, Sega CD stuff. I'm just saying like I played Sewer Shark 5 times in my life. I know I could play it now if I really wanted to.
Sure.
But I think there are some things that have fallen through the cracks of time and I think the Atari thing is sort of like the middle ground between that, where like you are familiar with all this stuff, but it's still really appreciative to see that big, dedicated sort of like.
Yeah, and have it all put in a line, like all the way from, hey, we are making computer space all the way up to the Jaguar and beyond. And it's like, okay, we've had the collections done before, but to have the deft touch of experts coming in and get these stories, it does feel new. It feels fresh, and and you're right. You could immediately apply that to the biggest stuff in the world, but it maybe would be the most interesting for things that have mostly come and gone. I mean, they're probably. You're right. Like CDI, 3DO. I think all of that stuff. Like just tell the story of that era. There's probably a million interesting stories, and now would be the time to do it because there's probably a lot of people from that era who either have retired or are retiring. Get their stories now before it's too late. I mean, I'm glad they did that with Atari. Seeing, Nolan Bushnell in a couple of the videos, but like Eugene Jarvis, a lot of these guys, many of whom are actually still working in the industry. Al Alcorn, or like have those guys come out and speak. It's like, okay, great. We got a great example of them coming out, getting their stories saved for posterity, and a lot of other companies should have the same honor, I think.
Totally.
I think it'd be a long shot here, but I would kind of like the same treatment. I don't even know how you'd begin to organize this with like early era of Newgrounds Flash games.
Huh.
Wow,
Yeah.
that'd be awesome.
Like
That would be fantastic.
It'd be near impossible. I know there's compilations of Flash games and everything, but like, God, y'all, I can't tell you how it felt like I was a bootlegger getting through the school's firewall to play these Newgrounds games because like I didn't have like a working computer at home. It's like, oh my God, y'all, you see these stick figures? There's blood. So like that, something like that would be really, really freaking neat. But I don't even know who would you task that with? Like, where do you start with something like that?
I don't know. It's like some nonprofit or something at that point. It's like,
I mean, yeah, Video Game History Foundation, like have them come in and start looking around, and I mean, they want to do that work, and it would be nice if we could just set aside like a certain percentage of the industry's profits and just give it to them and say, go do this work for us.
Yes.
That would be fantastic. But we're not at any risk of that happening anytime soon.
Definitely not happening. Anyone else got any more games to talk about? Grub, you and I checked out Goat Simulator 3, and we were invaded by Daniel Reichert.
We were. That quick look going up soon, right?
Yes, should be going up after the Bombcast is wrapped and everything. It's a pretty fun game.
It's fun. I mean, you know what it is, except for there's probably more to it than you're expecting, right? That's how you felt about it?
Oh, yeah. Pleasantly surprised. Like, as we were ragdolling throughout the place, we'd stumble upon a new area of like, oh, cool, here's a water park. Oh, cool, here's like a logging place area.
There's an entire city like area. Yeah. And there's a man flying through here, and there's a hang glider. That's interesting. And it's, oh, no, you're going to get the hang glider. Yeah. And then all of a sudden you're just playing with your nice buddy Jan. You're having a good time. Sure, you're messing around a little bit, but you're mostly being respectful. And then suddenly your other buddy, Dan Reichert, pops on and just immediately has a grandma on his back firing balls of yarn at you. And it's just knocking you out, and you can't do anything anymore. And even though he's not on voice, he's cackling. He's cackling.
It's
like really makes you steams your beans. But what can you do about it?
your beads.
What can you do about it? Other than maybe kick him. I guess I could have looked into kicking him out of the party.
Yeah, that's always an option.
Yeah,
always an option. I don't know. I think it's gonna be the kind of thing where we're gonna go to this a couple times. I think we're gonna do 4 players. I think it's gonna be a great stream. Like, obviously that's what it is. It's a streaming game.
Yeah.
But I think you're also gonna be able to hand this to kids.
100%.
Go buck wild for
I cannot wait to hand this to a kid.
I'm going to hand this to my 5 and my 3-year-old, and I know they're going to go buck wild.
Oh, totally. And just like if we were amazed by the stuff we were discovering, I can only imagine like little young ones being like, oh my God, now I'm a giraffe.
And I bet they're going to cry a lot, because the one's going to knock the other one over, and they're going to be like they do that a lot when they're playing Kirby or Mario right now. But it's the kind of game where I'm like, figure it out. Yeah, let's just figure this out. Like, there's no goal here. This is just a sandbox. There are goals, and you can do the goals if you want. You're 5 and 3. I know you don't want to do the goals. Just play around the sandbox, figure it out. And I can feel like kind of stand back and let them do some conflict resolution work and stuff.
They'll get exactly what they need out of it. Yep.
Yeah, I think so. Yeah, it's really cool.
Yeah, I want to see the studio make something else, because they just make a bunch of weird stuff. I also love the move of just going straight to 3. Feels like a solid power move.
Yeah, absolutely. And it almost feels like a 3. You could see a Goat Simulator 2 just being kind of like more of the same. And this feels like, well, we got to do some new stuff. And this feels like it's got all that new stuff.
Yeah. Who knew that was the secret this whole time? You know?
Yeah. Just go straight to 3. Yeah.
Go straight to 3.
Absolutely. What's that breaking news before we take a break here? We have a special guest to the Bombcast here. I apologize for the audio listeners. You may want to tune into the video portion of this if you can. We got... Someone excited. Woke up.
I love her so much.
I genuinely cannot describe the glee.
All those Paul beans. I am in love with Scout. She's crazy.
I'm overcome with gooeyiness right now.
It's unfair.
Yeah.
Why'd you do this, dog?
I'm gonna steal your dog. I'm coming to steal your dog.
See,
let's Team Rocket it. We need to steal that special Pokemon.
Maybe I got a dog because I knew Pokemon would disappoint me. and I just needed animal companionship.
Yeah.
No, don't.
There you go.
Please don't chew the headphones.
Corgis
please.
are the most herdier ass dogs.
Yes.
Are they not?
Oh yeah. Oh God. Seeing this little gal skitter around, it's like you are putting all of your energy into running right now, and you are covering 1 foot on the floor.
That's it.
Yeah.
You getting away from no one. I love it.
And she's just gonna sleep here now, so I'm gonna have to have like T-Rex arms to navigate the rest of this podcast.
She's the silent producer.
The silent producer. I'm gonna. Oh, you know what I could train this dog to do? I could train this dog to push like a T-bar.
Yeah.
Yes.
So that
make a bone shaped. Yeah, absolutely.
Oh my God! I'll put it on the floor. And I'll be like, Scout, fade to black, and then she'll do it.
I think sound like a German trainer. Fade to black, and then it's not very good. I'm so sorry.
Oh, it's okay. It sounded authentic to me.
Yeah, thank you.
Unless anyone's got any more games to talk about, I think it's time we take a quick little break. Yeah.
All right.
Let's do it.
All right.
It's your first Fade to Black, Scout.
Go
for it.
Exactly. Having my dog make an appearance on the Bombcast was not enough. We needed the big dog himself to join the unholy trinity and make it a fearsome foursome.
Sure, yeah.
Fearsome foursome. Welcome to the Giant Bombcast. Mike Minotti and his buddy.
Hey, Mike.
Hey, how's it going? I hope I don't show anybody my condoms this time.
Yeah. Hey, we all have dreams that you don't do that, please.
Was that on purpose when you did that? That was like
He didn't know. He forgot they were in there. They've been in there for like
right.
74.
That's right. I think a lot of people forgot they were in there, but sure. I don't know why.
Immediately just get his ass.
Do you and Minotti have this rapport where you can like dunk on him like this?
Oh, I love this.
Mike.
He gives up those vibes though, right?
I
Where
do.
you're just like, yeah.
No, because usually I'm Mike. Okay.
Yeah, it's true. Yeah.
And the pecking, there's some sort of organic social weirdness.
One of my favorite hobbies is making Mike upset, and since I've been here, one of my favorite hobbies is watching Bakalar get upset. So I'm like, oh yeah, I'm gonna push their buttons.
Tracks.
Yeah,
that tracks. That certainly tracks. Okay,
there we go.
Right. The natural
Mike
order
was
is
gonna be
restored.
here for the whole show, but then just minutes before he said, no, I'm not gonna make it. You guys aren't considering my rider. There's no, he said,
Yeah.
gave me all brown M&Ms. I said all
no.
orange. No. Yes, he said
Wow.
yesterday you couldn't make it. Yeah,
We got him the
my
Disney
butt
World
doctor.
tickets. Don't
We did
worry.
get him the Disney World
They're in the
tickets, yes.
mail.
He's taken care of. There you go. Baby got his
Baby.
bottle.
Yes, only
You're
50
doing it
bucks for
again.
me.
I can't stop.
I love it. I love it. It's great.
He's never gonna
Yes.
come back.
This is.
Oh my gosh.
Wow.
You know
This
what?
is-
I'm so much better at Eternal Darkness than you, and I'm just gonna say it, you know?
Yeah, wow.
Look,
Get his ass
Oh, there we go. There we
Bar's
go.
low. Let me tell you. Also, is this what Dan Reichert experiences 24/7? He doesn't need to just shit on people. Like, is that the thing? Jeez, what a
Looking forward to the
nightmare
red post now.
existence
Why are they
that
so-
must be.
Why are they so mean to Mike Minotti? I don't think it's funny, actually. I think it's actually
would
pretty
actually
rude.
change
Wow,
his
Mike
name.
deserves it though. Actually, everybody, just so you're clear. Just so we're clear.
Yeah, I 100%.
Yeah.
Well, we got the best newsman in the biz here on this podcast right now, so I think it's about time we hit the news. Scout, hit the news music.
Good girl.
Good job, Scout.
Girl.
There
I
we
will
go.
die for Scout.
Yes, absolutely. As I'm not a dog person, I would die for Scout.
I would be so excited to die for Scout, actually. If I saw the opportunity, I'd be like, yes, please.
I showed my partner that sentiment when I tweeted about Scout, and she was like, I don't want anyone to die. No, don't. But thank you. I think I'm happy about this reaction. Okay, yeah.
It would be an honor.
All right, let's get into this news. Let's do this. It's going to be a short week, so I came in here like not prepared at all, kind of being lazy, senioritis. But we got a fair number of stories here, starting with EA's new college football game is on the way, but has no release date yet. EA has been hard at work on a successor to its long-running NCAA college football games for a while now. But it seems that college football fans will have to wait just a bit longer. A new interview from ESPN suggests that EA Sports College Football is coming sometime in summer 2024. I can confirm separately, yes, there's no way this game is coming in 2023 anymore. I talked to some people close to the game, And basically the word is the tech is causing some problems. Also, the licensing is going to be a bit of a headache. This is a whole new sort of realm with the name, image, and likeness, what you might see referred to as NIL licensing agreements with student athletes.
Right.
That's been figured out on a individual basis a number of times. There are like some standout cases. Olivia Dunn from LSU is like this is a gymnast who's got a ton of endorsement deals because of a name, image, and likeness, and that's worked out fine. And she's like helped some of her teammates get some of that as well. But no one's figured out like every single college athlete for this entire sport, especially something as big as college football.
Oh, that's insane. The amount of people.
Right. So they are going to slowly figure that out. On top of that, EA Tiburon's been making Madden for a really long time. And the word is they don't want this to just be a reskin of Madden. And that to me, that's got to be like, maybe it should just be a reskin of Madden.
I'm kind of surprised it isn't going to be.
You want the game to come out?
Right. Do you want it to come out, or do you want, I think most people would just be like, just make it a reskin of Madden. They don't want it to be, and I think that's going to be a bit of a challenge.
But college football, and again, not that I claim to be any sort of American football expert.
No, you bring up
stretch.
sports a lot on this podcast, so you are now an expert.
As much as I really dislike American football, I do know a good amount about it. And what I do know is that like college football and the NFL are pretty different. In terms of like the scores 78-95 and there's 1 foot out of bounds rules and stuff like that, which you can obviously reskin and not have a problem.
A lot of Madden matches are 78-95 already, so it's like it kind of already tracks a little bit.
I get that. I guess the thing I'm more sort of curious about is like, is any of this related to the sort of new compensation? Isn't there a new compensation structure like NCAA is sort of do you know the rules with that, or are kids actually allowed to make money? That's what name, image, and likeness is right,
that these kids can now accept money from companies for licensing their name, their image, or their likeness. All three of those things would be relevant here. And the problem again is just like, how do you make that make sense for thousands of student athletes? My guess here is it's probably going to be kind of picky and choosy. Like there are going to be handfuls that you're probably going to get a lot of the quarterbacks. But you're going to get like the 7 skill positions on offense, a few defensive stars, or maybe they do try to go all out and have every single student athlete. But that would be, in my mind, that seems pretty expensive. Yeah. But also, I don't know. Maybe they're not paying these kids a lot, and are these kids in a position to sort of negotiate? I have no idea. But that's the problem. It's like, I don't think EA has any idea, and they're navigating this slowly, trying to figure it out. And the whole reason they were able to do this game again in their mind is this NIL rule. So they want to figure it out right now for, this is an investment for them. If they get it figured out now, they could do one of these every year forever. And if they screw it up now, well, then that screws everything up forever. So they're going to take their time. Yeah, this game's not coming out till 2024. Obviously, summer 2024. That's when these games normally come out, right before the college football season begins. So that makes a lot of sense. Let's see. Holt, who is the EA Vice President, Daryl Holt, was talking to ESPN about this, and he said this is an immersive college experience that's going to live on. So our expectations that we will continue to represent the authenticity of the sport. We're going to figure out ways that people can bring their passion for our game, their game, and their sports team into our game and play it. So I think it's going to be an always evolving experience. It's another side of this where it's not going to be exactly like Madden. They want it to feel like College Game Day that you see on TV. They want it to feel just significantly different than what a pro sport can feel like. And how do you represent that? I mean, I don't know. But the point is that Tiburon probably also doesn't know, because they're doing one game for a real long time. At least in my this is what I haven't heard one way or the other. But they put out Madden every year. I know they're working on that golf game as well. That golf game keeps getting delayed. So I can imagine it's like, well, we got to figure out this other stuff. And there's some challenges there. They'll get around to it. They will figure it out. But I'm sure that these hurdles will keep presenting themselves. And they're going to have to come up with some new ways of solving them that don't involve just relying on what they did with Madden.
What if they also do the Midnight Suns 3 houses thing here, where it's just in between the games, you go to the frat house or whatever. Yes. And you have to play quarters or play Madden. I imagine that's something that they do actually.
That'd be
you
fun.
play Madden in between games.
You put
play
Madden
2K
inside there. Yeah, exactly. You go talk to the coach and get +1 friendship XP with the coach. I could see that.
I don't know,
get
man.
yourself out of an RA situation somehow. Negotiate that. Yeah.
This just seems like a nightmare to try and do to get some of these student athletes paid, man. Because like, think about, I don't know, it's very complicated enough with professional athletes when they do bad things, but like some of these are like young 18-year-old, 20-year-old college athletes. They're little dummies. Yeah. And like, I don't know, say they get caught up in some type of scandal. Like, do they get kicked out? Do they still get like a royalties check afterwards for being in the game?
I bet that the lawyers are figuring out trapdoors for that stuff right now. Where something like that happens, boom, you are out of the game. You get your last check. We don't pay you anymore. They're probably figuring all that stuff out. But you're right. Like, they're going to have a lot of contingencies with dealing with so many, such a large, messy human element. Absolutely.
And then are the paydays weighted where, like, you know, the schools that are the college schools that
yes, I bet they
do well,
without a doubt.
Yeah.
I mean, I think are these I don't think the schools can negotiate on the students' behalf. I don't think that's the way it works, because then that would get messy with NCAA regulations or whatever. Honestly, I am no expert on NIL, and if you are, I apologize, because I'm sure you're tearing your hair out there.
I don't.
Yeah, okay, yeah. Jan, the rest of the team's not going to apologize. I do. But I think what's probably going to happen is that a lot of these athletes probably will band together in some way and negotiate together, and maybe teams will do that. Maybe even conferences will do that. Like, all these students will come together as a conference and create some new union of student athletes to do this. But and for EA, that would probably be ideal too, because you just get a whole swath of people done in one go. And then there's going to be, you know, like the star quarterback at OSU. He might hold out and be like, well, I can negotiate on myself and get even better terms. But the rest of them are gonna be like happy, just be like, oh man, I get included in this big union and I get a little bit of money. I think that'll be, you know, kind of, a lot of them will be happy about that. All right, Nintendo Switch Sports' free golf update is arriving next week. They just kind of put the details about this up last night. The free DLC, which adds golf to the game on top of the existing 6 sports already featured, will be released on November 28th. According to Nintendo, the mode will include 21 holes taken from the Wii Sports series. So all of those those courses that we already played before are coming back. As well as the standard local play, golf will include a new online multiplayer mode called Survival Golf. In this mode, up to 8 players take part online, all hitting their shots at the same time. Whoever clears the hole in the most strokes is eliminated, and this continues until only 1 player is left. I think that sounds very cool.
Golf Battle Royale?
Golf Battle Royale, yeah.
Hey, okay.
So maybe we'll make some of that happen when we come back from break. Let's keep moving here. Legendary Sonic designer Yuji Naka has been arrested in Japan. This comes from Luke Plunkett at Kotaku. Over the past 24 hours, and this is from earlier this week, a number of people in Japan, including a Square Enix employee, have been arrested on insider trading charges related to a Dragon Quest game announcement. Legendary Sega designer Yuji Naka is reportedly among them. The scandal centers around a studio called Aiming, which in 2020 was announced as the developer of a new Dragon Quest title called Tact. Last night, and again, this is earlier this week, it was first alleged that 38-year-old Square Enix employee Taisuke Sasaki, who had worked on Final Fantasy and Kingdom Hearts games, knew of the deal before it was publicly announced, and along with a friend, purchased a ton of shares in Aiming. And then later, Yuji Naka basically was accused of doing the same thing, although it's not clear if Yuji Naka sold his shares, but apparently he definitely purged it with this insider knowledge. Without like informing, you know, the public before doing so, which is of course insider trading. And so Yuji Naka being punished for a crime, maybe not the crime, but a crime. Every time the story comes up, we've talked about it a few times on the Game S Mornings and a few other things this week. I don't know what else to say other than don't insider trade, kids. Most kids aren't at risk of insider trading. But also, you know, don't make Balan Wonderworld, because this is just karmic. This is karma coming back.
You're
boy.
Right.
Yeah.
The world does have a way of repaying itself.
The world has a memory.
Not.
Exactly. Yes.
The story's too funny. You can't even make jokes out of it, right? It's like making fun of a clown.
It is
you can't
itself
make fun
a
of his
joke.
big shoes. Like,
Yeah.
you know, what are you gonna, you get it.
He's going to be
Your nose
spending
is big and red and stupid. Yeah, well, he knows.
He might be spending a lot of nights in jail.
Okay. All right.
That's not great, but not bad.
Right. Yeah. No. I think
So is the story, all right?
Yes.
No, you are doing the best with what you've been given.
Sonic's
Right?
daddy is in jail? I don't know.
If he does get arrested, or if he does like end up in jail on Christmas night, that would be good for Christmas.
If we could just arrange that, please.
Yeah, if we just make that happen for our sake, for our podcast here, it would really help us out.
That.
Mike, you're on it.
Yeah.
Yes. Okay, that's my job. All right. Okay.
He leaves the call right now. Like, all right.
I'm gonna cancel. I'm going to cancel the Disney World vacation so I can get Yuji Naka behind bars.
Yeah, those tickets we sent you, that's also non-refundable. You can not exchange it either.
I'm going to transfer him on the airplane, though, and then he's going to actually break through and ride the airplane door down a city street.
Hell yeah.
Run from an orca.
Man, I try to Photoshop myself in front of the orca scene. Yeah, I have a picture of me in a kayak. I've been Photoshopping it in front of
we all know.
Cone has done some good ones. There's not a great high-res picture of Sonic running from that orca, weirdly enough. I couldn't get.
You just got to de-res yourself, just lower your resolution.
Yeah, that sounds hard.
Yeah, just put on the Sega Dreamcast filter. You'll be fine.
Okay.
The Rock is mad at IGN. Jen, I put the tweet here if you want to put that up, but honestly, it's not that big a deal. But IGN tweeted, Black Panther Wakanda Forever has earned over $400 million at the global box office, making it the most profitable superhero film to be released this fall. Black Adam, which came out in October, has earned $353 million at the global box office. Now, those are just facts, right?
Sure. Yeah.
Not if you're The Rock. The Rock said, what a neutral post, crying laughing face emoji. I love competing, but at IGN, you guys are in the biz with us. There's no competition with the established global brand of Black Panther compared to Black Adam and the Justice Society of America, who a year ago no one had even heard of. No one needs to knock us. We're new babies and have to grow. Smiling face emoji.
So The Rock is just upset with like being a part of this, like just being having a comparison made against his franchise. Like,
well, it's not a fair comparison. Bakalar.
He's a baby.
Come on, he's just The Rock.
Yes, Dwayne The Rock Johnson, perhaps the most movie star movieman now, is mad.
I'll say this: history's greatest baby film star. I don't know what you're talking about.
This does come off as petulant bullshit for sure. To be clear, I'm not making an excuse for The Rock.
Do you want to beef with The Rock, Bakalar?
No, I don't want to beef with The Rock.
Be the new IGN?
Please don't get me rock bottomed.
I'm not coming to his defense, but I feel like, all right, everyone gets one. Everyone gets one like pissed off moment where you like, and this isn't mean. Like he is not actively mean here.
He just spent his one for me when he like did the Game Award or the Summer Game Fest from his gym and just like filmed it on his phone and was like, enjoy your gaming.
That was just the biggest disrespect anyone could throw towards Jeff Keighley. Like that was just a matter of disrespect, right?
Sure, fair enough.
We all enjoyed our gaming.
Not the same thing.
Yeah,
we all went home. But like this just seems like he had a bad moment, a bad workout, whatever it is, and he read this and he was just like, "Come on, I'm The Rock,"
Zoa and got in a bad mood. Yeah,
he's just like, "I'm The Rock. I'm gonna pop off at IGN, whatever that stands for. Nobody knows." And
Imagine Games Network.
Right.
Sorry.
And so I'll let him have this pass. The Rock can be mad at IGN. That's fine.
I'm just disappointed that like when The Rock is actually upset, it is like crying face, laughing emoji. Like cut a promo.
Real
call IGN like a Rudy Poo website or something.
Mm-hmm.
You know?
Can I just say though, like that emoji, which has always been crying laughing face, is now sort of like the candy ass emoji, right? Like that is definitely he has owned that. That was the real play. Him getting naming rights for that crying emoji.
The candy ass emoji.
Now that's the candy ass emoji forevermore.
But isn't there an emoji with like the one eyebrow? Couldn't he have used that?
Oh, that's my least favorite emoji. The one with the guys like this and the one eyebrow.
Yeah, I don't think you're right.
The laughing crying face emoji is so much worse. And I always say that because I've recently used the thinking emoji.
Those are the two worst emojis. Anytime I see a message with one of those emojis, I usually do not like it.
I hate the sweating one. Where like
I love the sweating one.
Oh,
it makes me feel uneasy.
When people write that, I'm like, are you having a moment? Like, are you really freaking out about what you just said?
I like the red face sweating, like tongue out, like type of emoji.
I
it's
like that one. That's the horny emoji. I thought.
Drink of water.
It's like, yo, what are you trying to do right now, dude?
That's one step away from the ahigal emoji. So
Oh, not safe for work, please.
Yeah, we need an official chef's kiss one though.
Oh, that'd be good.
I'm sick of combining the pinch with the lips. I need something
like an animal, like a goddamn savage. We need to get something real in there. Yeah.
You know how long that takes? You know what productivity's lost?
Do you want me to get on that after I put Yuji Naka in fucking jail?
Yeah.
Yes, buddy. We're creating a list
I'll talk
for
to
you.
the emoji people.
Getting an emoji approved, as we found out in an episode of the Very Online Show, is one of the most grueling, incomprehensible tasks one can engage with.
There's a whole council, turns out.
That meets like 5 times a year in some shadowy carved out mountain or something. I don't know.
Are they all writers on the Emoji Movie? Like, did they all get credits on the Emoji Movie?
No, they didn't get written credits. They just got emojis.
That's it.
PlayStation is banning shovelware and easy platinum games on the PlayStation Store, and Greg Miller has been personally wounded here. PlayStation has sent out a dev letter to all its developers noting that shovelware, games that are reskinned non-games, and games just made to get people a platinum trophy are going to be either shadow banned or delisted, with a chance of the developers being banned from publishing any more games. An anonymous source sent out a letter to the website where I got this from. I'm sorry, I don't have it in front of me. The letter states, SIE strives to ensure that customers can search and discover the full breadth of experiences on PlayStation, and that partners have a fair means of being discovered. When partners oversaturate or spam PlayStation Store with many variants of the same type of content, it can negatively impact both customers and partner experience. Partner requirements and allowances include, when SIE reviews the content submitted to the PlayStation Store, products that have the following characteristics are identified as spam or repetitive. And these include products whose functionality and or assets are copied or are not meaningfully different from products already published on PlayStation Store, irrespective of the publisher or publisher of record, or multiple concepts and product variants published by individual partners that have duplicative functionality or experiences. Basically what they're saying here is, don't put out a hentai puzzle game and then put it out 15 more times and each of them have a platinum trophy.
Damn it, that was the next thing on Mike's list.
Right, we were going to get you to work on the official Giant Bomb hentai puzzle game.
I already finished that one. That's been in the pile, ready to go.
Good boy.
Just give me the word.
I get why they're doing this. I know a lot of people really want this. For me, this is Sony passing the buck. You can make your store better. You can just make discoverability on your store better. You could just write an algorithm that will bury these games, and then these people can keep putting out whatever bullshit they want. And when someone opens the PlayStation Store, you don't serve them all of this latest junk. Why would you do that? That just means you're a bad store. That has nothing to do with like, yeah. It's like, just let people put out bad games, and then if I decide I want to play a bunch of bad games because I want a bunch of meaningless platinum trophies, let me make that decision for myself. But I know I'm pretty alone in that. Most people want the stores to be sort of governed by the platform holders, and I respect that. And I mean, you guys are getting your wish here.
Everyone knows Jeff Grubb. He's a pro shovel guy.
Hey, give me that shovel. Yeah, absolutely. Have you seen my Steam account, man? Jesus.
Does this mean college football 2024 cannot be reskin Madden?
That's why.
That's why they're doing it. Yeah, absolutely. I mean, I guess maybe I'm not using the PlayStation Store as much as some, but when I have opened it, this has not been too much of a problem for me. But the way I hear people complain about it, it must be a problem for some people.
Yeah, I mean, people are still running into the problem of, oops, I accidentally bought the PS4 version of this game on my PS5. So I think you're on to something, Grub, where the problem is also on the Sony PlayStation Store itself.
Clearly, Sony needs to make improvements to its UI, its UX, and to its store. But I thought that that has been Steam's answer, right? Steam is like, let's let more people publish more bullshit, and then we're just going to make the store better at surfacing the things you're actually interested in. And we can argue about whether or not that's been effective. I think the amount of games they sell on Steam has been kind of self-evident that it is working just fine.
Yeah.
But we could still have that argument. I think people they look at PlayStation, Nintendo, and Microsoft differently in terms of their console platforms. And they're like, no, we want an authored experience when we go in the store, and we want a sort of quality measure before I go and look at something. And I like trash, so I'm like hopeful that one of these pieces of trash that you might accidentally stop from coming on your store could be something magical. It could be special in some really busted, broken way, and I think it should have a chance to compete like everything else. But I don't know.
No,
I'm not surprised that they're doing this.
I agree with you, because some of the best UPF segments have been Jason rolling up to a UPF with a uniquely kind of Jason game where I'm under the assumption of like, oh, this is just something on Steam. And then like a trophy notification will pop up. I'm like, they let this pop up at the PlayStation Store? That's sick. Hell yeah. Let's get down with a Garbo.
Yep, I like it too. But you know, they're gonna clean up their store somewhat. We'll see what it looks like. But I bet for the most part they do, like, they've offered up alternatives for these developers. They say, hey, you know what you could do? Just release your game, your shitty game that no one cares about, that has an easy platinum, and then what you could do is add on more content using like the commerce functionality and just sell DLC for that thing instead of putting out 15 versions of your hentai puzzle game. And I think that might defeat the purpose of putting out a bunch of games that have their own individual platinum. But Sony's kind of like, well, we don't care. We'd rather the store be a little bit less messy. So
is Nintendo doing anything about the eShop? Because folks are pointing out that the eShop is filled with just as much garbage.
And doesn't have easy platinums, right? So it's like the incentive there is completely different.
Okay.
But yeah, I mean, it definitely is filled with a bunch of crap. I think the problem with both of these stores is that what happens when a new game comes out and falls out of one of the main tabs, right? There's featured. There is, it's on sale. It is, recently released. And it's like one of those tabs. And if you don't find it there, how do you find it? You have to know it by name and go search for it, and it will have zero discoverability. It is it's really bad on Switch. I think it's equally bad on PlayStation Store. And that, to me, that's not a problem with the crappy games getting put out, because that can happen to anything for any reason, even if it's all good games being put out. You need to then create a process to bring those games back up and reshuffle them and put them in front of people. And that does not address this at all. Like, this is just like, okay, maybe the games will stay on one of those tabs for a few weeks longer, but they're not going to be on there indefinitely, and they're still going to fall off eventually. So yeah. Okay. The company that revived the Xbox Duke is now bringing back the Xbox 360 controller, which, Mike, did we put that in our S tier or our A tier when we were ranking controllers?
Oh gosh, that's a good question. I think it might have been in S. Now I'm not sure. I'll investigate this.
As a joke, right? Like,
wait, whoa.
Well, the 360. You don't like the 360 controller?
No, the Duke.
Oh no, the Duke. No, the Duke got real low. We're talking about the 360. So Duke, they did this previously with the Duke. Now they're bringing back the Xbox 360 controller. Got it. Their list is a monster, says Propaganda Panda. A lot of people real mad about where we put the Steam controller. I don't even remember where we put it. Probably in the bottom tier.
Yeah, we put the Steam controller in the F tier, and somehow people like the same exact people who are yelling at you for thinking the Steam controller looked weird back when they debuted it 6 years ago or whatever are still mad that people did not accept the Steam controller.
Oh,
they're wrong.
They're very wrong. They're so wrong.
It's no way to live.
Yeah,
and there's the Saturn pad weirdos as well. Absolutely.
Well, the problem with the Saturn pad is that there's like 6 different versions of it, and we kept saying, "Look, just imagine we're talking about the one that you guys like," and they just wouldn't accept that. And I thought I was something of like a knowledgeable Sega Saturn person, Jeff. Apparently not. I have no credit with that community anymore.
Well, the one controller I could definitely speak to is the Xbox 360 controller. That is a very good controller. Yeah, I do agree with people saying that the Series controllers are even better, and I agree. I think that they, especially when I hand them to my kids, and I'm like, oh, that controller fits my hands, and my kids can use it really well. But
magic.
All that stuff still essentially, and most modern controllers, still based on what they did with the Xbox 360 controller. Hyperkin is bringing it back. They are responsible for recently doing this with the Duke. They are now going to do what they are calling the Xenon, which was the code name for the 360. And it's going to be an officially licensed replica of the controller that was originally included with the Xbox 360 when it launched in 2005. So pretty cool. I mean, I liked what they did with the Duke. I didn't buy it because I really don't like using the Duke. It's big, and I like that, but the buttons are too slanted, and so when I try to play,
insane.
It's like, you can't play Tony Hawk with it, and to me, that's the kiss of death for a controller.
That's a good barometer.
Yeah,
I'm a little confused about. I mean, the Xbox 360 controller basically is still the controller that we're using for Xbox.
You're exactly right.
Yeah.
So I don't know why we had to buy an Xbox 360 style controller like this. The newest Xbox controller is that, except like the Xbox button is flat now, right?
Yeah. Well, you need that really mushy, terrible D-pad.
Yeah, no, the mushy D-pad.
This is exactly what I understand. Like, specifically for Xbox, it has not evolved much beyond that. What are we doing? This is not a retro thing.
Well, I think this is just them having a lot of success with that Duke one and kind of looking around for another way to do that. And if you look at the Xbox 360 pad at this point, it does, at first glance, look enough different from the current series controller that you'd be like, oh, that is the 360 controller. I remember it being just like this, but it actually is. It's got a little bit more of a controller shape to it, where it kind of like buckles in around the top a little bit more, like a
little
shock.
softer, right?
Yeah, sure.
Okay.
But I'm probably not going to get this, but I mean, I don't think it's for us. I think it's for people who are like super duper, the people that are probably still using the 360 controller today and like on my PC, this is the only controller I use. Yeah, I mean, if that thing starts to go out, or if it starts being a little bit funky or a little dirty, maybe they're like,
oh, they get dirty. Actually, I still have mine right here too. Actually, I was using this for PC gaming for a while. Still, as my wired Xbox 360 controller.
Yeah, baby.
Like, here we go. We can do it right here.
Yeah.
Here we go.
Oh, look at that aging on the 360 controller. That's beautiful.
Look at those fine Mike Minotti oils. Ooh, baby. Yeah.
There you go. Well, you're gonna be sick for a week.
Yeah, man. You just had your stomach checked out. You need to be careful there.
I think
that's true.
I just can't deal with the wires anymore. And there is something. There's a weird weightlessness to the wired 360 controller. I remember having to go back and just being like, oh, this thing's got no guts. You know, this thing's got no weight. Doesn't feel important.
Oh, thank God you brought that back. That's my favorite.
All right, I'm writing this on the list now. Jeez.
Wait, what list? Oh, for Game of the Year. I was about to do that. Okay, Google, add Jeff Bakalar's most important game of the year to my to-do list.
There you go. I love it.
Good job.
By the way, I did not actually lick the controller before anybody gets mad at me at that. That was forced perspective.
Who the hell's
Please
getting,
don't be like, that was really
getting
dangerous,
mad?
actually. It's not
I'm
actually
getting mad at
funny.
that.
I'm real mad.
No,
You could get sick, actually. People could die.
I didn't touch Danny DeVito's foot. Minotti didn't lick that controller. It's all the force.
I'm a truther on both of those. Absolutely.
Yeah, there was a second kisser. That's what it was.
A rogue
the hairy knoll. All right. CM Punk has seemingly been removed from AEW's video game cover. AEW Fight Forever, which is a name that we got because Mike Minotti went to a wrestling show where Tony Khan said that one time. And
it's true. I was there for that breaking news.
Yeah, and they since confirmed it. They have a bit of an issue. They put kind of a dickweed on the front of their game. His name is CM Punk, and they've since trying to get rid of that guy. But for weeks, he's been doing his thing on the cover of all the art that you see for this game.
Yeah.
And now they just released another trailer. He is nowhere to be seen in the trailer. He's not on the art anymore. Seems like they are extracting him from as much as they can. No word on whether they're going to actually do that from the final product. My guess here is chances are he probably still is going to be playable in the game.
Yeah, they might just replace him with like a half-smoked pack of Marlboro Lights and a joint.
Oh,
like,
they should bring back
favorite wrestler.
Yeah. I think in the indies at some point before he's even in WWE, some promotion had CP Monk. And he was like a guy in a chipmunk outfit.
Okay.
Like he was straight edge and he would do that. So they should put CP Monk.
All chipmunks
into this. Yeah.
He's probably already signed to the AEW roster. Let's be real.
I mean, it's hard. It would be impossible to know. No one can go through that entirety of that roster. It's much too large. Bakalar, do you say Marlboro? Well, I can't even say it.
Well, how do you say it?
Marlboro.
I don't say it. Or Marlboro.
Marlboro.
Okay, so you don't say it like Mario. You say it like
I grew up in a town called Marlboro as well.
Marlboro.
So I say Marlboro. Yeah.
Marlboro.
Yeah, see? It's tough.
I honestly think I flop back and forth. I think sometimes the L gets heard. Sometimes it's the R that's dominant. So it's like it's MARL, right? So it's like Marlboro or Marlboro. Yeah.
It's like, and that's word. It's like rural or
Marlboro. Yeah.
It's like that
smoky Marlboro.
It's like it's like that. It's not Coors. It's Coors Banquet beer.
Coors Banquet. You know what? If I say it like that guy from those commercials, I can.
Is that Sam Elliott?
Yes, yeah. Coors Marlboro, Coors banquet beer for banquet halls.
Got so many E's in his vocabulary. It's insane.
I love that guy.
All right. Let's see here. I think I have a couple more. Oh, this last one. Nintendo's latest DMCA takedowns are over. Fan-created Steam icons and boy, this
get a life, Nintendo.
Issue for me.
Oh no, it's gonna be for me. My Steam icon is Link dressed in a Star Trek uniform that I made when I was 13. I thought it was very cool. It's still my Steam icon.
Mike, you are very cool, but that's not what we're talking about here. What we're talking about is
undeniably
the Steam Grid DBE things, where when you are, let's say, playing your ROM backups, your backup ROMs from the internet,
Yeah.
and you want to like go to your Steam library on your Steam Deck, and you want to have your Legend of Zelda Breath, or the 3DS game, A Link Between Worlds, and you want to have the art right there in your Steam Deck.
Oh,
They're like, hey, people are using these Steam icons to like make their games look all cool on their Steam Deck. We hate that, so we're gonna go file a DMCA takedown with the company, or the website that serves all that stuff up to everybody. So this comes from Kotaku. Stop me if you've heard this one before. Nintendo is using its army of lawyers and chest of money to go after people who appear to be some of the biggest fans of its games and franchises. Yeah, you probably have, huh? This time, Nintendo is going after people who create and host custom artwork for icons used in Steam libraries. Evidently, this is a good use of its time and resources. Nintendo and its lawyers have practically become a meme at this point, with people quick to point out that any fan game or mod using Nintendo characters is likely only a few days away from being legally smacked down by a big Japanese publisher. We've asked Nintendo to chill, but what do you expect from a company that works with the feds to send people to jail for years over ROMs? I could see how this happens at Nintendo, right? You have a lot of lawyers, and they're not working on anything, and they're like looking around like, we need to do something. But all these people using our or like playing ROMs, playing pirated games. What can we do? It's like, well, can we get rid of emulators? No, emulators are perfectly legal, and the sort of case law on that is pretty settled. That would be a waste of our time. Well, can we do like the whole thing where we get them for tax evasion instead, like where we come around and reach around and find a way to sue them for something else? And that's what this tactic is. It's like, okay, you are using these Steam icons. Maybe we'll just make the experience slightly worse for playing Nintendo games on these emulators, and then people won't want to do it. It's not going to work, and people will still find a way to like around this stuff. It's just kind of annoying. But it's, Nintendo has a lot of lawyers, and they're not busy apparently at the moment, so they're going to do this instead.
So, but my Link Star Trek thing
Mike,
is
you're
safe.
screwed. All right, you're going to jail.
Yeah.
I posted a picture of it. Isn't it cool?
That's the takeaway. You're going to jail.
Well, this is how you get Yuji Naka to jail. You just take him with you.
Right. Oh, we're gonna escape together. Follow me. Trust me.
Someone
we're
could
gonna
now
escape from fucking jail.
It is Link wearing a Star Trek: The Next Generation outfit, or is it
not bad photoshopping? If I do say so myself. It's
I've looked
Star
at this
Trek
icon
Voyager uniform
for literally years, and I've never noticed that.
It's probably so much smaller when you see it.
Yeah, I guess so.
I will
That's what she
pay
said.
so much. I will pay so much money to get the Prison Break remake with Mike Minotti with like a Sonic design doc tattooed to his back to break Yuji Naka out of jail.
Yeah,
please, someone.
I don't think. I hope this isn't controversial. I don't think I would do very well in jail.
No one disagrees with that.
Yeah,
No,
sure.
not controversial at all.
I feel like I'm not a tough guy. I think that'd be.
I think you would charm people. You would charm people.
You'd become like an arbiter. You'd become some sort of like arbitration.
Either it would deeply
arbiter.
change you, and you become very violent, and you'd be shanking people.
What does arbiter mean aside from that person from Halo?
That's what it means.
Like a middle person, a negotiator,
an alien who comes to stand between you and Keith David.
So like I'm gonna what am I gonna like make peace between like the neo-Nazis and the weed offenders?
Yes. You have
my higher calling.
I'm surprised you haven't done so already, honestly.
To jail. I think at this point we could now fill a pretty sizable coffee table book of like the pettiest bullshit Nintendo has gone after in some sort of really goofy collection of stories.
Yeah.
This one is probably, maybe it's just recency bias, but this one feels especially petty, right? Because it really is a lot of times just fan-made art. They're using, a lot of times it is the official art for these games, and it'll auto-populate, and it feels like a professional service. It's not. It's just a bunch of fans doing this stuff. Sometimes you get fan-made art, but they're going to go after all that stuff because it's all their IP. But it's not going to stop the problem that Nintendo actually cares about, which is them getting their money. They're never going to get money out of this. They're just going to stop some people, I guess, sometimes from having an icon on on a Steam or on their Steam or whatever. So it's just silly.
Litigation with no end. It is litigation. It is literally spending money for negative press.
Yeah.
Spending money on actively marketing against themselves and their interests. That is all it is. Someone give them that message, but this is all it is.
And they'll be like, man, that sounds awesome.
They're going to sue you afterwards.
That does it for the news that I have. Jan, you want to take this shit back over?
Yeah, I think it's about I would raise the dog up, but then someone fell asleep.
Sweet girl. Sweet girl.
And my thigh hurts from supporting her bum.
I was like, just wake her up, man. Just wake her up. One more time.
Maybe by the time of the emails, maybe I'll just blast it and just perks up her little ears. But until then, we're going to take another quick little nap break ourselves. We'll wake up and read some emails, and then we'll get on with the show. See y'all in a few. Someone's still asleep, and that guy's Mike Minotti. Let's give him a little nudge. Mike, wake up. It's time for the emails, buddy.
Come on.
Emails. Jeff bad, other Jeff good. Won't say which one.
He's talking about me. I'm the good one.
Yeah, he's trying to redunk on Jeff Bakalar.
Yeah, get him back.
That's right. We're reading emails from you at home. If you want to send some emails, you can send them to bombcast@giantbomb.com. You may potentially get them read on air. You can ask virtually any and everything. But please stop signing us up for your mailing lists. Stop doing that. It's I have to unsubscribe from so many things.
That was my bad. I thought you would have liked all of those promos for Pornhub or whatever.
Whoa. Keep those coming.
That's good stuff.
First email comes from Vivian in Vermont. Oi, gigantabombas?
Oi, Joy Bomb!
I've been casually observing the realm of fighting games from a distance for the past few years and I've tried getting into a couple times of my own, fully aware that the easiest way to do this is with a friend to grow and bounce off each other. One of my friends is very observant and has grown out of their more toxic competitive habits, and I've been hinting at them coming along for the ride, but they've been hesitant all his life for one reason or another. Outside of button mashing as a kid and decades of Smash Bros, my friend has had relatively little patience or interest in most fighting games. They played Magic the Gathering at a high level for most of their life, going to regionals and doing consistently okay. They've also been enjoying Monster Hunter in the past few years, testing their patience, repetition, pattern recognition, and timing in action games while grinding through all the G-rank hunts in both World and Rise. With the impending arrival of Street Fighter 6, is now finally the time? Is it possible to swap them to modern controls, yell, "Pokey Pokey, I'ma steal all your eggs," and ask them if they'd rather play green-yellow control, blue-white jank, or red ha deck on wins, and get them hooked enough to make some monstrosity for World Tour mode? Thanks for the constant feed of fun, Vivian in Vermont.
I don't understand a single thing.
Was that one where you tried to say
sorry.
Hadouken?
Hadouken. It says red Hadouken here, and I'll send you the thing, Lex. You can actually read along with this.
Yeah, I'll look at that. Are you guys? I'm a mild fighting game person. I don't know much into fighting games. The three of you.
I want to get into Street Fighter 6 when it comes out. I played a ton of Street Fighter 2 when the time to get in was hot, and I had a great time then. I was playing with my brothers, and that was cool. And then the world kept going, and I checked out a couple other video games, and when I looked back, everyone in the fighting game community was very frightening.
Yeah.
So I kind of feel this. I don't know if the question is, ask the person that you're playing with to switch to modern controls, which modern controls are the thing where you can basically just spam the buttons.
Oh, right. The auto combo
try
stuff.
To translate it into something that is like, oh, we're going to make you play mostly like a fighting game person, right?
There's three controls. I think there's like the classic or whatever, which is whatever. Modern controls is slightly simplified. And then there's some other new one. I forget what's even called.
Dynamic?
You can't play it online. That is like, you can button mash and
that's
things
dynamic.
will happen.
Okay.
Dynamic. Okay. Yeah. So, but like, I think that'll be fun for like getting people to play. That's not going to turn them into fighting game fans. Eventually, they're going to have to actually sort of learn what's going on.
Right. Modern controls are the ones that like Smash Brothers.
Oh,
that's right.
Kind of. Yeah. Yeah,
I mean, listen, you're a Smash Brothers weirdo. So when I say that, most people are going to be like, yes.
I shouldn't take it personally. You're right. It's not about me. It is always just, that is the big thing, though, is if you want to get into a fighting game, it has to be when one of these big ones comes out. So you're kind of there with everybody, because if you come in late, it gets pretty rough pretty fast, especially in terms of online lobbies. But like, you can't force a person, though, to get into a fighting game with you. And I know it's frustrating, because if you want to play fighting games a lot and you don't want to have to play online, you want friends and you want
you have to have someone there with you playing alongside you, and they have to be relatively on your level, or find some way to make it even. There's a lot of things that have to line up, and I always felt like, oh, it's stacked the deck against me getting back into fighting games. But I'm gonna try with 6. I'm excited to.
Yeah, I'm gonna try as well.
That beta ruled. That beta was so good.
It seems like a real fun video game. Yeah,
I cannot wait for it.
Minotti, do you play with a stick or just controller?
I'm a stick guy. I'm a controller guy. I think it's interesting, because I remember, like, even 10 years ago, it was like people would laugh at you if you weren't playing with a stick. And now everybody is like, controllers are fine. Now the argument I'm hearing a lot, or the debate, is analog or D-pad. Apparently analog is no good. I'm learning. Apparently I need to learn how to play with the D-pad.
Yeah, I don't think there's any debate there, actually, Mike. I'm pretty sure you will still get laughed at if you use analog.
I think you're actually correct.
So the thing
confuses me, because the analog stick is much more like the arcade stick that everybody used to
That makes sense to me.
On the outside. On the inside, an analog stick has analog control, and a joystick on an arcade thing is digital. It is just digital input. That's the big difference.
I guess it makes sense, because I was like, sometimes I was playing a lot of Guile on the beta, and like sometimes I wasn't doing my Sonic kick or whatever. And I guess it's because as I was flicking up, instead of up, it was registering as right. So if it was a D-pad, I guess that wouldn't happen as much. It just feels worse to me, but I'm sure I would get used to it.
All right, y'all. Next email comes from, where did I put you? Brian. What the fuck? Dude.
Wow.
Jeff. The Devils. What the fuck? Brian, Red Wings fan out in Clayton, California. I don't know which Jeff that's to.
He might be mad at me, Bakalar, for saying what I said.
I mean, look, I don't know what to say.
Well, let's recap that. We talked about it a couple times, and he might be right. I think we might have talked about it last week, right? Where you said, like, hey, the last time we talked about this, the Devils were playing the Red Wings, and Grubb said the Red Wings may never lose again, because we were on like a 3-game winning streak or something like that.
You guys, the Red Wings were doing well. They had scored first in that game.
Yes. And I called that shot even before they scored. It was like going well. And then I said that. And since then, literally said, even though we talked last week about this, still since then, the Devils have not lost.
They've not lost. They've gone, I think, something like 26 days without losing a game.
And it's not like they're just like skating by. They are outplaying everybody.
They are dismantling very good teams. They are making teams look stupid. And it is, I was talking to a guy in my locker room last night who was like, 5 the last time the Devils won the cup. And he's like, was this what it was like in 2003? And I'm like, no, they are better now.
Yeah, it's never been like this.
It's weird. I don't know what to say. As a lifelong Devils fan, I'm like almost in denial as to like how they are breaking the game. And from if you really care to like get into the nitty gritty, like hockey, just like every other major sport, has gone super analytical and really granular stats. Like, it's not just shots on goal and goals, and it's like percentage of scoring chances, or like goals expected, or like, incredibly granular, microscopic seemingly stats generated to really give computers a good understanding of like who is the probable winner of a game, right? Mm-hmm. And when you look at those kinds of stats, like, you are really fascinated with just how good on paper this Devils team appears to be. And that's what I'm struggling to sort of wrap my head around.
We'll move on from this, but I can tell you from experience that it is dangerous, because the season that the Red Wings won, like 72, or it was like 62 games, right? 62 games.
Crazy. That's a
yeah,
crazy record.
Right.
Oh my
they
God.
only lost 13 games that entire season or whatever. It was like, and then of course they go in the playoffs and they lose to the Avalanche. And then they had a similar season the season before, and they go against the Devils and get swept by the Devils in the final. So it's like you can have that really good team in the regular season, but the playoffs will be different.
Totally.
And this team could rise to the occasion. They're very good.
It's crazy. They're like 16-3. It's insane. Okay, I've never seen that they've tied their record for most wins in a row. I just, again, as a lifelong Devils fan, I've obviously seen them have a lot of success. They are as old as I am, and they so I know not to get too high. I know, but look, it's been a long time. The last time they made a run was in 2012 when they went to the final and lost to LA, which was right during E3. So I had to fucking live through that in the worst way possible. But this is a win. I don't care. They could lose every other game the rest of the season. This has already been a win for me and enjoying what they've done. And but most importantly, they're fun to watch, man. That's all I ask for. Like at this age where like I've seen them win 3 Stanley Cups. It's all good. I just want to watch a game of theirs and be entertained and enjoy that.
That's
and it hasn't been that.
25 years in the playoffs.
Exactly.
Just entertain me. And they've been that for the last 2 seasons. And I mean, I don't want them getting blown out. Like the 10-goal game, giving up 10 goals. Don't do that. But you don't even have to get in the playoffs. Just be fun. And they've been doing that. But here, I'm going to solve this right now. Bakalar, the Devils may never lose another game again.
Nice.
All right. Okay. I think we're good.
No.
I think we're good now.
Bakalar,
I'm going tomorrow, so we'll see if that worked.
It sounds like you need to be sports entertained, perhaps.
Oh, listen, no, that is not what I'm asking for. Is that what that sounds like? This is not a plea for wrestling. This is not a call out.
Let
for
me
wrestling.
tell you, you would really like to get Usi. I think out of all of us, you would get the most Usi. And this is not a naughty thing. This is not a naughty thing.
No, it's not.
What's Usi?
I mean, we can make it naughty, but I mean, it's not.
You just got to
scissor me daddy ass thing.
Did you scissor anyone besides Dan there?
Oh, Dan, by the way, I got forced into a scissoring with Dan.
Wow.
And I got to say, I didn't love it.
Not
okay.
Yeah,
you didn't love it.
Okay with that. We do not approve of that here.
Yeah. Scissor with consent.
So funny, like you look to the side during that show and you just see like full families being like, scissor me daddy ass. And I'm just like, what is wrong with this wrestling?
Nothing is wrong with it.
It's exactly the way it's supposed to be.
Yeah. You just make sure to acknowledge the tribal chief, Jeff Bakalar.
Mm-hmm.
Sure.
Right.
All right. Next email is about cars. This comes from Shane from North Carolina. Hi, Bombcast. Longtime listener, first time writing in. At a local supermarket parking lot, I just saw a sand blue Ford Bronco Sport with a vanity plate reading S.HDGHOG with a Sonic decal next to the plate. They had a Sonic plush hanging from the rearview mirror too. I thought it was especially funny because it was not officially licensed, and I take it the owner found the Bronco Sport more representative of Sonic than a full-on Bronco because it is smaller and more rounded. What are your opinions on tailoring your car or other belongings to be themed like a certain gaming franchise or character without it being officially licensed? Would you drive a Sonic Ford Bronco Sport? Thanks. I appreciate the Bombcast for making my Tuesday bearable each week. Shane, North Carolina.
Thank you for that. Going forward, I will only be driving vehicles that are unofficially licensed.
Get up. Oh, we got to get him a Bubsy car.
Oh,
I didn't say
no.
What would be the Bubsy car? We got to figure this out exactly.
We got to get him like a Mini Cooper that's transmission is fucked up and like has no power steering.
What could possibly go wrong?
That's about to catch on fire. Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah, I think I want as little attention drawn to my car as possible. Like, I drive a Jeep Wrangler and I like it. I do not like people trying to talk to me about it because I just don't know the answers to their questions.
Jeep freaks. They're the worst.
There's that, and there's always like I don't know what it is, especially when I go to the subway near me. At least 4 times now, people have just tried to buy my car from me.
Oh,
I'm just like, I'm just eating a fucking sub. I'm not going to sell you my car. I don't know how much it's worth. Leave me alone.
I went to the 4th of July thing near my house. It was not super close, but like we drove to something. They were gonna have a big fireworks display, and then they had like some hot air balloons going up during the day. one thing I didn't know that was going to be happening over there was that every single Jeep Wrangler in the entire fucking state was going to show up, and they were going to be the only cars allowed in, and they're going to do things like driving over dead cars and like, oh, we're going to like park our things on the side of hills. There were literally more than 1,000 Jeep Wranglers at this thing, and I'm like, there's a Jeep Wrangler like culture. I had no idea.
Oh yeah,
there's a lot of like things I had to learn about. So we all wave at each other. There's also a thing with rubber ducks. And I didn't know about this, where you put rubber ducks in the car like handle thing. And the first time it like scared me because it was at the height of the pandemic. I just come back and there's some rubber duck just wedged into my handle. I was like, who is trying to kill me with COVID right now? Like I can't touch this.
Ernie from Sesame Street is going to kill you.
Right. But then it happened a second time, and I was like, "What is that?" I had to Google it, and it's like a thing.
There's the G people freak me out. I just love how like everyone has agreed like this car literally defines who I am as a person. Like there's no other. Not to disparage your vehicle of choice, Mike, but like
it's a nice car,
insufferable.
It does have a vibe, and I get it. I'd rather be on the inside than on the out. I'd rather be among them, I suppose. I feel safer there.
I don't defend you. Yes, absolutely.
Right, I'm with the freaks.
It's a fraternity here.
If you're a Jeep Wrangler freak, I want to hear from you. You can write in. Or call into the voicemail dump truck, because we'll be doing a big family get-together for that one this year. So, or this week, so.
There's the G people, and I got to imagine followed closely behind in second place is Subaru WRX.
Yes.
Sure, yes.
And
then there's like a sport there, right? They're probably into the rally.
There's a rally car.
Can we get one of those? WRX, could we like theme it to Rex after Mass Effect? That'd be good.
Sure.
I'll go back to this question.
That'd be good.
Get us back on track. How dare you? How dare you show up and get us back on track?
Oh, you're going to take the doors off that? You're going to take the doors off that Jeep? It's like, oh, shut up, dude.
Shepard?
No, my cars are cool with doors. Okay, they're important.
Yeah.
Doors rule.
The Jeep Wrangler does look cool without doors, though, honestly.
Yeah, if you're driving like on the board, like on the beach, and only the beach, on the literal
gonna say boardwalk,
sand.
and I'm into that more. I want to drive my Jeep on a boardwalk in Atlantic.
That sounds
like,
terrifying.
Look out! My car looks like Sonic the Hedgehog. Don't die.
You know what? The Jeep Wrangler would be the one that actually would be most likely to get genophaged. I know that's not what you said for Rex, but like if we were going to eliminate one vehicle with science,
we're going to genophage it. Oh my god!
Galstaff in the chat's right. I do think the one exception is like if you turn your Jeep Wrangler into a Jurassic Park Jeep Wrangler, I think that's okay.
Well, that's just the coolest looking thing ever. Like I don't know what it is about that design.
Yeah.
It's like colors. It's like the weird wires on it.
Yeah.
Like it's
I'm going to be at Universal too before Disney. I'll take a picture because they have a bunch of those cars in the Jurassic Park area. I'll take a picture and send it to you guys so you can know happiness for a moment.
Okay, thank you.
Lovely, lovely. Thank you, thank you. I strongly considered for a hot minute becoming a pickup truck guy, but then, if you become I park like a G here, man.
I like that.
Once you become a pickup person, though, you immediately become the go-to friend that friends hit up for moving.
You can help me move. Yep.
Yeah, and it's like you're not even going to give me a courtesy pizza, are you?
So listen to this. They make the pickup truck Jeep Wrangler now. So like,
I've seen that.
Fusion dance these things, and it's just the ultimate form.
They made them fuck, and there you have it.
Until Jeff genophages them, then they can't fuck no more. Can't make any more hybrid cars.
They must be destroyed. They're too beautiful for this world. Yeah. Actually, this Jeep Wrangler pickup is fucking ugly. I hate it.
Well, I didn't say it was pretty, but it exists.
Yeah,
pretty ugly.
Exist. It shouldn't. But it does.
It sounds like a bad sequel, which ties into our next email. Hey, duders, what's the worst second film in a long-running franchise? Mission Impossible 2 or Too Fast, Too Furious? Can you think of a franchise with an even worse contender than these two? Thanks.
Yes.
Alex from Chili Whack.
Gotta be.
One jumped into my head right away.
Yeah, go.
Please.
Die Hard 2 sucks.
Oh, Die Hard 2 is okay.
I've never seen it all the way through. I should watch that this year.
It's worse than 1.
Oh my God! What do you? That is not the sentence. Worse than 1. 1 is, I would say, borderline. An action movie. I don't want to say masterpiece, but it's like pretty damn good. 3, I think I love 3. Die Hard 3.
Three's great, yes.
I like 2 more
Two?
than 3. I know I'm weird for that. I don't like 3 that much.
Mickey Mouse and now this shit.
I don't like 3 that much. I don't.
3
I'm
is
sorry.
so good.
I like
3
4
is
more
so
than 3.
well acted. What an amazing villain.
There's that truck driver that has all the facts and he's the best character.
Just doesn't do it for me.
Dude, crazy psychotic riddle romp through New York
Jeremy
City.
Irons just hamming up.
Samuel Jackson. Simon
know what
didn't
it was.
say.
Who's the bad guy in 2? Again, I haven't seen it all the way through.
Jeremy Irons.
No, 2.
In 2?
In 2? Nobody knows. Nobody cares.
It's just some guy. Yeah, it's not
It's
as good
some
as this
fucking
shit.
guy. It's a whole airport.
Wow, okay.
Shit. Oh, it's the worst. 2 sucks.
Mortal Kombat Annihilation is
Yes.
so much worse than Mortal Kombat.
Yes, that is actually the steepest drop off in quality I can think of.
I don't know, y'all. Maybe because I watched it when I was a kid, but I really like Satan Nightwolf.
I think you just you literally just answered it both times. 1, you were a kid, and 2, the character you like showed up.
Yes, there you go.
I was happy Smoke showed up. I didn't love the movie.
All right. Okay, fine. I won't die on this hill, but I will die on the hill that Too Fast, Too Furious is not a bad movie. I love it. I love it just for the line of ejecto cito, cuz, and then I laugh my ass off every single time.
That's fucked up.
Oh God, I love it. It's good.
That's the one that introduces Tyrese, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's fun. He's fun in there. Yeah.
It gets a pass just for being called Too Fast, Too Furious, because we get to make jokes now with every sequel, just calling it, Too Sonic, Too Hedgehog.
You can't undersell that. That's important.
Yeah, it's like the Electric Boogaloo thing. Like, good, now we have this joke forever.
No, we don't have Electric Boogaloo anymore. They took that from us.
Shit.
If we are to answer this question scientifically, I think Dr. Randall in chat has it right, and I think Anchorman 2 is easily the worst sequel ever made.
I forgot that even existed.
It's disappointing, is what it is.
Oh, it is a crime of filmmaking.
Speed 2 Cruise Control is a good one too. Because Speed 2 is so perfect. Speed is perfect. Speed 2 is just completely nonsensical.
What about weird ones like Chinatown getting a sequel 20 years later? The Two Jakes. Yeah, the Two Jakes, directed by Jack Nicholson. Even.
What about R.I.P.D. 2, huh? That just came out.
Oh, that's the best. That's the best sequel.
There's like some good ones in chat. Son of Mask, Dumb and Dumber.
Independence Day 2. That's really good too.
There is a Grease 2, isn't there?
Oh, Waiting. Yeah, Morbid in chat says Waiting 2. Do you remember that Ryan Reynolds I Work at Fridays movie?
Oh, I really like what's the golfing movie? Caddyshack 2. Caddyshack 2 doesn't even have
with Jackie Mason.
Even have Rodney Dangerfield in it. It's got the stand-in Rodney Dangerfield, but it was on HBO 7,000 times as a kid, so I loved it.
That's why you have that opinion.
It explains a lot, I know.
City Slickers 2, The Search for Curly's Gold, or whatever.
That was actually
Jaws 2 is probably might actually be the right answer here. From Jaws 1 to Jaws 2.
That's pretty rough.
Yeah.
But there's a lot worse ones than Too Fast, Too Furious, and Die Hard. Whatever you said.
I think they said Mission Impossible 2, which comparatively...
Mission Impossible 2 was okay. I remember as a kid being really frightened by that scene with the cigar clipper in the finger. That freaked me out too much.
Sure. Grease 2. Wow.
Oh no, Jason will come back from his vacation and bust through this Discord call to defend Grease 2 to his death.
He has that weird Grease 2 defense.
Yeah.
Eyes on that hill over and over.
Is that like the Chewbacca defense?
Yeah. Yeah.
All right, everybody. Let's read one more email. And that email comes from Jose from Levittown, Puerto Rico. Hey, Jan and the Bombs. I'm listening to last week's episode, and I enjoyed that clusterfuck email. In Puerto Rico, there's an equivalent, Aroz Con Culo, which translates to rice with ass. Used when you want to refer to a disaster person or situation that's too complicated to summarize.
Hell yes.
Kind regards, Jose from Levittown, Puerto Rico.
The best part of that is I knew what rice was and I didn't know what the other thing was.
Rice with ass.
That's amazing.
Hey Jeff. Hey Jeff Grubb. Hey Jeff.
Yeah. What's up?
Hey, you're rice with ass.
I think let's get that going. We're going to start saying that on this podcast.
Oh, that felt so good to say.
Aroz Con
Did it
Culo.
hurt?
Yeah, it hurt my feelings. I'm kind of like, I'm reeling over here. Okay, Google, remind me to put rice with ass, or best rice with ass of the year on my game of the year list.
Oh,
we got to call Keeley. Is it too late?
Yeah, let's get a good category going.
okay. Tabulating all these last minute rice with ass votes.
What if we try? That's good. That's great.
Man,
Aroz Con Culo.
I'm so glad I was here for that.
It just seems like such a slap in the face too. Because like when I hear culo in Spanish, I'm like, hell yeah, let's get some culo up in here. Because I love it when Pitbull yells that. But to add like, and rice is pleasant. You put them together, damn.
No.
Damn.
Some real rice with ass right there.
Just imagine like smearing in some like sticky rice in the bum. And
Oh,
no. Dear.
You normally got to pay extra for that.
Oh no.
Yeah, they don't offer that everywhere. That's on the secret menu.
Everywhere that's on the secret menu, actually.
Rice with ass. Real rice with ass.
And that about
Yes, the
does it
rice.
for this week's set of emails. Once again, you can send them to bombcast@giantbomb.com. Gentlemen, we don't got too much more going for the rest of the week. Grub, you got another ep of Game Mess Mornings. We're going to follow that up with some hot dumping, some voicemail dump trucking. You still have time to call into the voicemail dump truck if you want to leave a perhaps Thanksgiving themed or something you're thankful for, a voicemail, 707 exit flu. Mike Minotti, what you up to? What you doing? You want to plug some stuff?
Sure. Well, there's me and Jeff's shows. We're doing Last of the Nintendogs tonight, actually at 9 p.m. Eastern. So that's on the Jeff Grubb Game Mess channel on YouTube. We also do Game Mess Decides there. Normally on Thursdays. We might be doing an early Wednesday show tomorrow to fit that in. And then check out my Disney podcast, 90s Disney, at 90sdisney.com. We'll have an episode for Christmas going up on December 1st about the Osborne Family Spectacle of Lights, which used to be the big Christmas thing they did at the Disney MGM Studios park. So if you're interested in that, check that one out coming soon.
Did you will Iger coming back into existence?
Man, that's shot. I was praying
to him every night. Mr.
So
Hacker, please come back and save us from the mean Mr. Chapek.
I mean, it's so weird. I guess I'm ultimately happy about it, but it is just all so. I mean, Iger was awful at Succession, right? That's the problem, and that is still kind of the problem: is who's going to succeed Iger. So I don't know where all that is going to go, but who knows? Maybe they'll at least fix some of the headaches at the park right now, crowding and making it feel like you're scheduling, your college semester instead of going on vacation.
Yeah. I haven't been able to eat at any of the nicer restaurants in Disneyland in years.
It's hard.
Because all these damn Disney adults, like Mike and myself, wake up at the butt crack of dawn, at the ass rice of dawn, and reserve them.
What's your favorite of the Disneyland restaurants? I have to ask.
God, I love Blue Bayou.
I knew you were going to say Blue Bayou. Which
God,
has
I love the Blue Bayou.
Rice,
Yeah,
did you guys do an episode of about Blue Bayou on, or do you guys just do it about restaurants at Disney for a 90s Disney, right?
Yeah, I think we talked about Blue Bayou at some point.
That's where I know the name from. Yeah,
Blue Bayou is the one where they're Pirates of the Caribbean. The opening goes through the restaurant, so it's very cool and relaxed in there. Incredible potatoes gratin that you can get.
Yes. They don't serve Aroz Con Culo there, though. But make sure you don't serve that at Thanksgiving this week. Folks, that about does it for the Giant Bombcast. We will catch you next week. Have a lovely and safe holiday if you're in the U.S. If you're outside the U.S., I hope you have a fantastic week nonetheless, buddy. And we'll catch you next time for the Giant Bombcast. Is this playing? It's playing now.
My favorite side dish is rice with ass.
Scissor me, daddy, rice and ass.
Yeah, Mike, give me
Am I doing it wrong? I'm doing it wrong.
You're doing it wrong. Yeah. Oh, Scout.
Everyone shut up. There's credits now.
The Giant Bombcast is hosted and live produced by Jan Ochoa, with support from Jeff Grubb, Dan Reichert, Jess O'Brien, Lucy James, Tamor Hussein, Jason A. Stryker, Matthew Rory, and me, Jeff Bakalar. Our theme music is provided by Tom Monda. Our logo is designed by Dave Schopenek, and you can find him online with the handle @DaveSavedTheDay. Justin Vachon is our sweet little art boy, and thank you so much for listening. Of course, a kiss on the cheek to you at home.
R.I.P. Jason David Frank. Goodbye.